Hello,
How can I
how are
help
you
you?
doing? Doing good. You say that God isn't real. I am a believer, and I respect everybody that thinks differently, but I think we can talk about this. So my argument, this is my argument. So the science believes or um, tells us that the universe was created by the Big Bang, right? Is that what you believe
Nope.
on?
Wrong. The Big Bang does not say the universe was created. It doesn't say it began necessarily.
What does it say?
That the universe expanded.
From where?
That's it. F- From all points of space. There is no
No,
one
from
place
where?
where it expanded.
There was of one point. There was one space, one
No.
point
No.
in
That's
this
a
space.
fundamental issue. That's a fundamental misunderstanding of the Big Bang. The Big
Okay,
Bang happened
explain
where
it
you're
to me.
standing. The Big Bang happened at every point in the universe. All points are expanding away from each other. There is no
But the
one
universe was
place that
not
the
there
universe
when the Big
expanded.
Bang happened.
What?
The universe didn't exist. You say all the points of the universe, but yet the universe didn't exist before the Big Bang.
We
So you're
don't know that.
contradicting yourself.
We don't know that. The universe could have always existed in some way, and the Big
We
Bang
don't
was
know
just a
that.
change or a
Okay,
phase the universe went through.
okay, perfect. So this is my argument. Science says that any creation has to have a creator.
No, it doesn't. That's not
It
what
does.
science says. And
It
stop
does.
hijacking science as if it's
It
your
does.
authority.
Okay, what does
Sir,
science says?
please, you don't understand what you're talking about.
Okay, you explain to me.
Science, stop and listen. Science has nothing to do with creation. Creation is a made up word, it means nothing. In fact, science says nothing's created. You cannot create matter nor destroy it. It seems to be always conserved. The point is, the universe could have always been, and if it had a beginning, it doesn't have to be God. It could be anything. So again, what's your evidence of God? Not the Big Bang, God. What's your evidence of God?
Okay, okay. Well, do you know that as simple as that? What you're saying that the universe doesn't have a creator, right? That it's not necessarily God is what you're saying. That's your belief, and I respect that. But anything that
Stop
is
saying I
created,
respect. I don't respect your beliefs. So stop saying
okay,
respect
that's okay.
beliefs.
That's
I'm
okay if you
asking
don't
for
respect me.
evidence of God, and you're not giving it. So we have one
Th-
more chance to give evidence of your God or go away.
You are completely butthole, man.
Look, all you had to do is give
No,
evidence.
you
All
you
you had to
are
do is
just a
give
rude
evidence.
person.
Look,
You
all
are a
you have to do is
completely
give
rude
evidence.
person that doesn't
All.
have respect for
There you
others.
go, sir. I am not being disrespectful. I'm being honest. I'm being bold because I want your evidence. I want your argumentation. Just give the evidence. Please, kindly give the evidence for God. Thank you.
So I would just do this with you, okay? I will ask you use one question before I drop and let you continue, because I don't want to waste your
No, no, no.
time.
Just give the evidence for God.
Yeah, I will give you the evidence.
Great. What is
Listen,
it?
okay, let's a hypothetical world, okay? The world comes to an end, okay? And there is no God, there is nothing, and the world destroys itself for any reason, and we all die, okay? What do you lose? You don't lose anything, right?
I
I
lose
don't lose
everything.
anything.
I lose everything because for
Okay.
that finite amount of time I existed,
Mhm.
I
So you
had the
lose
ability
everything,
to
okay? Okay, perfect. So
buy. You're not willing to listen to what I'm about to say. People say this all the time. Why not just believe in God? What do you have to lose? Well, everything. I lose everything about who I am. I lose my thinking, my rationality, my ability to be untethered to a specific ideology that dictates my life and how I treat others and how I behave. I rather not be tethered to an ideology that diminishes the appreciation I have for the cosmos. As somebody who doesn't believe in God, the universe is more rich, more wondrous, more mysterious. And because of this, I'd rather not believe in God because the mystery excites me. The mystery of the universe continuously excites me. And for a theist to simply blanket the universe and all of its mystery and say, it must be God, I don't want to think anymore. It shuts off your thinking. You no longer think critically. You no longer think about the mystery. And for that, that's what I lose. I lose that awe, that reverence for the universe. I also lose my ability to be a kind and honest person, because theists cannot be honest because all they can do is have faith. That's dishonesty. I'm honest. I'm raw. And I appreciate things, not because some guy told me to, but because I genuinely want to appreciate things. That is powerful. Powerful beyond recognition. So I lose a lot of things about me if I believe.
Mike, how you doing, my brother?
Hi, how can I help you?
Good. My name's Jordan. I live here in Los Angeles. Just want to give a little insight about who I am. I noticed a very interesting statement you said. I'm definitely not here to convince you to believe in anything you don't want to believe in. That's just not where I stand. But I wanted to talk about that statement you made about rationality. You said that theists can't think rationally, or they can't, and I'm not saying this in like, oh, I'm offended or blah 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 blah. I'm kind of just reiterating what you said. It's like I lose that mystery and awe for the cosmos, or for like the universe, if something happens and this and that. So I just wanted to ask, what makes you think that as a theist, let's say you were a theist, what would take away that mystery and awe? Why do you think
Because
somehow?
every question you have, because every question you would have about the cosmos, you just say God did it. Why do we exist? God. Why are there trees? God. Why is there water? God. Everything's God, 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 God.
Sure.
Well, that's not how I see the universe. I see a lot of unanswered questions. And for that, it's a way more exciting universe to live in.
Where do you get this idea, though, that theists aren't good or honest people? But besides the point you made the point, well, because they just have faith, so they can't technically be honest. But if I were to ask you, well, where in the Bible would it say, and I'm not here to Bible thump your head. I'm asking an honest question. Where in the Bible would it say, if let's say what the theists believe is true, where would it actually say not to be a nice, honest person and be rude and disrespectful? Where did you get this idea, if you don't mind me asking?
Exodus, Leviticus, Exodus. Many Bible verses are very toxic and atrocious. The
Sure.
Bible allows slavery. The Bible allows pedophilia. The Bible allows all kinds of disgusting things.
Can you give me one Bible verse that allows pedophilia?
Exodus 21:7.
Okay, that you gotta, let's reiterate it together. So can you tell me what this verse says?
It says that you can sell your daughter as a sex slave to a master who wants to
Doesn't say
marry
you
her.
can sell your. Okay, can I please give you a proper definition of this? Brother, I want to listen to you. I would listen to you talk all day and hear your point, but let me just give you a good definition of that, because that's not what it says. I've studied the Bible for 10 years, okay, and going forward, so I really know what you're talking about here. But let me
Great.
just give you.
So then please explain away why it
Yes, sir.
says
I would love to.
sex slave.
I would love to. Okay. So what it was talking about in the time period was a dowry. Do you know what a dowry is?
It's a concubine.
Okay. She wasn't a sex slave. So this is kind of
You know
how
what
the Jews.
that's
in
a
the time-
concubine, sir. Do you know what a concubine is?
I know what a concubine is, but the
Great.
daughter wasn't.
That is what the biblical
That's not what you-
commentaries
okay,
are
but-
referring to when it says that
Sir,
word.
Sir,
It's a
listen,
maidservant.
Mike.
That is, in this context, a sex
That's
slave.
not what. Okay,
And by
that's
the way,
not the context
how
of
we
it. You're
know
not letting
this,
me
how
finish.
we know this
Sir, Mike, you're not letting me
because-
finish
no.
my point.
How we know this is because in that verse, it says, if she does not please her master, the father must buy her back. That, in this context, is crystal clear. They're talking about sex slavery. Children are not gifts. Children are not dowries. Children should not be sold. And I can't believe you're defending this. You're talking, you have to unmute yourself, please.
That's not true. Everything you said was wrong, but you didn't even give me a chance to reiterate my point. You just cut me off and turned off my microphone. Mike, in that time, listen, I'm not your enemy here. I'm actually, this is not.
Well, I'm not saying you're my enemy,
Okay.
sir. Just please answer. Excuse away this violence in the
There's no excuse. You've been given a wrong and false context. In the time, fathers would have setups with their daughters to be in arranged marriages to protect them, not to sell them into sex slavery. The daughters didn't sell them into sex slavery to make profit off of it. That's the difference. They did not.
Yes,
No,
they did.
No,
yes,
they did not.
They were able to sell their daughters
Right.
as property to
That's
somebody.
not the truth at all.
Yes,
You
it
gotta
is.
let me
If you
finish.
look at the verse, have you read have you read the Bible, sir?
Absolutely.
Great. So then why does it say that she must please him?
Okay. It doesn't say must please him. It says that when she's in a marriage. Okay. Do you have a wife? Just out of curiosity.
Sir, why does it say that she must
I'm asking you a
please
question.
him?
Do you have a wife?
Why does it say that she must please him?
It doesn't say that.
Then what does it say?
It says that she must obey as a wife her husband when she's in an arranged marriage, as any husband would have to obey the wife.
So the child has
Right.
no
It's not a
say
child.
whether or not she can reject sex. She
Not a
must
child.
obey the master. That's disgusting, and I can't believe you're fucking defending this.
Yeah, Mike, the problem is that you have the rationality. Your rationality is not really, like, it's not balanced here, Mike. You're not even listening to what I'm
That's
saying.
your argument? That's your fucking argument? How about Leviticus 20:13, where it says you can murder somebody for being gay? Do you like that verse too?
What's with your verbiage on the Old Testament? Anything from the New Testament? Can you speak to me?
Oh, I thought the Old Testament was God's word.
My friend, what's okay? Where do you draw? Are you talking about Old Testament? Are you talking about New Testament? Are you talking about Christianity? Are you talking about Judaism? What is
Sir, you have been embarrassed because you cannot defend your shit God. I'm sorry. Your God's shit. Your Bible is shit. You are a good person. I'm not disrespecting you, sir. It's not about you. It's about your Bible. I'm sorry. It's a terrible book. I'm just sorry.
Okay. Is there a reason why you don't want to even talk about the New Testament?
The New Testament also allows slavery. I'm sorry. Hi, how can I help you?
I was waiting for some time, and about the God. So God isn't real, you're saying, right? I mean, it's pretty hard to give you you're asking for an evidence, like pretty drastically, that we need an evidence to say that it's real, right? So there is no evidence that he's not real. Also,
sure.
So
well, are you Christian or Muslim?
I'm Christian. Yes.
Okay. Does God get everything it desires?
Probably, yes, I would say.
Okay. Does God want or desire everybody to go to heaven?
Yeah, I think that's the goal, yes.
Okay. Does everybody get to heaven?
No.
So then either God failed at his desire, meaning he's not omnipotent, or God wants us to go to hell. Which is it?
So it would be a little bit complicated in this context because of the free will. So if
free will is irrelevant.
Yeah. So if God desires to, so you are for you to be happy, right? And you're being happy, like not believing in God. So it's good for him, right? So he's happy, and he got that what he wanted, basically.
Look, free will is irrelevant because God could have designed a world in which everybody has free will, yet everybody in this world chooses freely to go to heaven. God could have actualized that world. Instead, he actualized this one where people go to hell. So it seems like God wanted us to go to hell for some reason. He wanted to see us go to hell. Why?
Um, yeah. So about why to go to hell, it doesn't states like so the hell is basically away from God. It's not like a complete punishment,
You're not
right?
answering. You're not answering, sir. Why did
So
God actualize this universe where evil is necessary?
to learn for us, because basically what so um, from the knowledge of three, what we got like from eating the apple, so what God said that we have become similar as God, so we know the evil basically, and
This is a theodicy, which is not necessary, right? You're trying to explain away the evil, right, with no reason. Learning is not necessary. Why did God actualize a world where evil exists, where he could have chosen a world where there was no evil? If you're going to say, because we need to learn, why is learning logically necessary?
so but this is basically a question why God designed this world for us, like it, why he did it. So we don't have an answer for this in the Bible, basically.
Okay. Well, then have a good day. Because it seems to me there's a problem, right? If you don't even know if your God's evil or not. This is the problem of evil, the evidential problem of evil, right? That's the problem. I do not think that this God is coherent. There's a lot of holes, there's a lot of fallacies, there's a lot of things you can poke into it. That's why I'm not a theist. Hi, how are you? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm not a religious person, but I don't agree with the second statement.
Okay. And how old are you?
18,
What year were you born?
2005.
Okay. What's your argument?
I don't think gender is a spectrum. You're either born a male or a female. And it's a mental illness if you think otherwise and you choose to mutilate yourself.
Okay, so do you know the difference between gender and sex?
The real difference or this made up make believe?
Man, look, you keep saying these claims, but you cannot prove it. Being
And you can't
transgender-
prove yours.
Oh, yes, we can. I have multiple studies, right? The World Health Organization deems gender as a characteristic or behaviors or norms or roles associated with certain terms like woman or man or boy or girl. That's what gender identity means. Now we can tie the gender to your neurochemistry. So it's not that somebody wants to change your gender. It's just that people, for example, me as a man, I have a male brain. But imagine taking my male brain and putting it into a female body. I would still think I'm a man, but in a female body. That's all it means to be transgender, right? It's not an illness. There's nothing wrong. There's no disorder.
It
perfectly
is because
normal.
it's being normalized now. That's why. This was a mental
No,
illness until 2013.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Where's the illness? Why is there a disorder there?
Because it's unnatural. It's
It
self-mutilation.
doesn't make it a disorder. Why is being transgender a disorder mentally?
Because it is sick. It is unnatural.
That's your opinion. Why is
No,
it an
it is
actual
it is
mental disorder?
facts. It's facts.
Then give a source.
I don't need a source.
Well, you're making a claim, ma'am. You need a source to demonstrate that claim
No,
is
you
true.
don't.
So I could just make up an opinion on the whim?
That's
and be
what you
right?
guys are doing now, making up these
No,
opinions.
we're
and
not,
making up
because we
these
can see
beliefs.
that gender is tied to neurochemistry. We can look at different brain sexes. We can study them. Here's a study called Brain Sex Shifted Toward Gender Identity. This is a study where scientists can
And
look
I can
at the
guarantee
brain.
you this quote unquote study is just to push this agenda.
No, it is not.
Yes, it
That's
is.
your opinion. Can you
No, it's
demonstrate
not. It
that?
is the truth.
So
This is your opinion.
back up your claims. Back up your claim.
Over 90% of the population agrees.
That doesn't make it true. That's an ad populum fallacy.
This transgender and all this is
Look,
unnatural.
man, look, I
It's-
know you don't like it. I know you're transphobic. I'm sorry.
I
You
am
don't understand-
transphobic. What?
Yeah. I'm sorry that you have not educated yourself in a sufficient way to understand the issue at hand. Being transgender is not an issue. It's not a disorder. It is not a mental illness. It is something you're born with. It is tied to our brains. We can see this in studies. I study after study after study. Learn, educate yourself. Gender is not sex. There's a difference. Learn the distinction.
But again, it is a choice.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Do you think it's a choice to be gay?
Yeah, yes, it is a choice. Well, I don't have a problem with gay people. I have a problem with
ma'am. Do you think it's a choice to be gay?
yes.
Okay, so you can choose to be gay. You can choose to be lesbian.
Yes, you can choose to love whoever you love.
No, that's not what I said. Can you choose to be attracted to a female?
Yes.
No, you can't.
Just like how you
can't
can
choose
choose
you
to
cannot be
get out of your bed every single
cannot-
morning.
Can you choose to be attracted to a
Everything in life is a choice.
dog? Ma'am, can you choose to be attracted to a dog?
Yes.
No, you can't. You can't.
So then
choose
why
to
are
be
there people?
attracted
Why
to
are
an
there
animal.
people that
You can't just choose to do it. It is something
everything in
that
life is a choice?
Ma'am, no. There are things in the world that are determined by our brain. Our sexuality is determined by our brains. You're born gay. You're born transgender. You're born.
So
these
are
things.
pedophiles born pedophiles?
Yes. Yes. But pedophilia has nothing to do with this issue at hand. Being transgender is
You
not
just
harming
brought up
anybody.
being
It is not
attracted
a
to
mental
animals.
disorder.
You just
There's
brought up
nothing-
being attracted to animals.
Give a piece of
Everything
evidence.
in life is a choice.
Ma'am, stop. Give a piece of evidence that demonstrates what you're claiming is true, that there are only two genders and that being trans is a mental illness. Give evidence for this.
You are born with a penis or a vagina.
That's sex,
If
not
you're
gender.
born,
That's sex, not gender.
if you are born with a penis, you are a male, a man, a boy.
That's
If you
that's
are born
sex.
with
That's
a
not
vagina,
gender.
you
Ma'am,
are a female.
Ma'am, do you know what gender means?
Yes, I know what gender means.
What is it? What's gender?
Gender is who you are, either a male or a female. There's two genders.
No, that's incorrect. Again, let me
No.
repeat myself again for you. Gender is classified as the characteristics, norms, behaviors, roles associated with a specific gender, like such as woman or man or boy or girl. Those are just socially constructed cultural terms. They are tied to our brain chemistry. So gender is neurochemical in nature. And that's why there are many different genders, because the brain is complex.
There are
Societies are
two
complex.
genders. So then how many genders
Prove
are
it.
there?
Prove it. Prove there's
How-
only two
so then
genders.
prove how many genders there are.
There's many because people identify as many different things in their respective cultures.
Like what?
Non-binary,
Names-
transgender, man, woman, gender fluid, non-binary. I can go on and on.
Yeah, go on and on.
I just did. Now go ahead and show me that those don't exist.
Because you have to change yourself. You have to change your natural state.
No, nothing's changed. We don't change.
Yes, it is. It's literally
No.
self-mutilation. You want to be
Nobody
transgender? You get a pair of plastic boobs. You cut your penis off.
Ma'am, can you stop? Can you stop this nonsense, this transphobia?
You stop this
There-
nonsense because
Only 1% of trans people actually get surgeries, and that
That's
is
being
gender
normal.
reaffirming surgery, and it actually helps them. Because people like you are being very insulting to them, right? You say that they don't exist. You're invalidating them. You're telling them that they don't exist. They do exist, ma'am. You just don't understand them. Imagine if I
No,
told you
they
that you're a
don't. They
man.
don't.
Lana, imagine if I told you that you're a man. Would you like that?
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean,
If
I know what I
imagine
am.
if-
I don't
ma'am,
care.
imagine if everybody said that you're a man and that we are forced you to be we go to the man's restroom. Would you like that?
that wouldn't happen because I'm
It's
clearly
already
a
happening.
girl.
It's already happening. You're
No.
causing it.
No,
right?
it's not.
Yes, it
well
is.
then listen to this. Listen to this.
No, ma'am. You're not listening, and you have to do a lot more research. Being transgender has to do with your brain. If I took your brain and I put it into a male body, you would still be a woman. You would not become a male all of a sudden. You'd still be a woman. You would not become a man. That's what transgender means. It has to do with your brain chemistry. It is a real phenomenon. And she left, but there's no reason to be transphobic here, guys. They're not ill, they're not sick, they're not demented. It's just a normal process of the brain that you don't understand out of your ignorance. You don't understand people. You don't understand them. Learn. This is the same attitude we've seen when people were, for example, gay and they were called mentally ill. Now we know that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with being gay mentally. There's nothing wrong with being transgender. It's the same thing. But you guys don't understand them. I didn't kick. She got blocked because she violated TikTok's rules. She's being transphobic.
I just have a quick statement. It's kind of insulting to us females that when men tried to become women,
That's
us
not true.
women, you're
Nobody's
talking about
trying to become,
transgender.
ma'am, stop it. Nobody's trying to become a man. Nobody's trying to become a woman.
Okay, you
That's how we are
don't
from
mute
birth.
me. That's not how the conversation flows if you mute
Okay, great.
people.
So then give me evidence that there's only two genders.
You're born with either a male or a female. That's how
Those are
it's always
sexes,
been.
those are sexes, not genders. There's a distinction.
Okay, well, the new world order of this new non-binary and all of this crap that you guys are trying to sell
Ma'am,
is
stop
not
saying crap.
working.
That's not an argument. Ma'am, I know you want to come up here and try to defeat me and say that I'm the bad guy and be the winner for the conservatives. It's not going to work. It's not going to work on my fucking life.
Because you're
No, it's not. Give an actual evidence-based
Can't-
argument, not emotion-based argument, right? You're not going to sit here and complain and cry because you don't understand people. Give an actual argument. You're being disingenuous. Give an argument or go away.
and we can have a conversation.
Give evidence.
Stop muting me.
Give evidence.
Stop muting me.
I'm waiting.
Okay, so it's insulting to women.
No,
that
you're going to
it
give
is ins-
evidence. You're going to give evidence or go away, ma'am. Stop complaining on my live. Go take it with the customer service, okay?
No,
Stop complaining, stop being a Karen, and start giving evidence for your claims.
because it's not.
Give evidence. That's not evidence. That's an opinion. Give evidence. Thank you. Bye.
Hello,
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, how can I help you?
So, I mean, this looks like a debate live, but I don't believe gender is a spectrum.
Okay, why not?
Because I feel like the definitions have a actual meaning. I can't see there being a situation to where culturally there is more than two genders.
Well, what if we're in a culture where I don't fit into the definitions that you give me? What if I don't want to watch Barbie and do those things that most women typically do?
I mean, that's not really a spectrum of gender. That's kind of just a spectrum of femininity and masculinity.
That's gender. Yeah, there's a whole in between, because there are people that have traits of femininity. You're echoing. Your microphone's echoing. I hear myself. There's a spectrum because there are many ways for somebody there are many variations of masculinity and femininity, and combinations of the two, right? It's not binary because there's many ways to identify within a society.
So, in your opinion, would a drag queen be a female if they're presenting as feminine?
So female is a sex, not a gender. Genders are not sexes. There's a difference. But yes, if somebody identifies as a man, as a woman, they're a woman.
Define what a woman is for me, because no other definition besides an adult human
There is,
female makes
yeah,
sense.
there is no objective definition of what a woman is. It depends on the culture you're in. In some cultures, a woman is what other cultures see a man. It's all cultural. It's just a made-up word. It's just a made-up label. However, what's not made up are our brains, our neurochemistry. And that's what dictates how we perceive ourselves, how we sexually identify and express ourselves. That's completely coming from the brain. So, yeah, genders are just characteristics and roles and norms that we typically follow.
I just don't understand how, let's say a male is behaving stereotypically feminine. Let's say he cooks, he cleans, he's a stay-at-home dad. Wouldn't that make him a woman by your definition, or have him perceived to be as a woman?
It's up to him how he identifies. It's up to him how he identifies.
How would that make gender a spectrum? Are you talking
because
objectively?
Because some people don't fit into the definitions you prescribe them. And again, sometimes people don't consider themselves a man or a woman. They're non-binary. They're gender fluid. They switch and change depending on the moment, the circumstance. That's how complex the brain is. It's all social. Neurochemical.
So, with being non-binary, I understand you're saying it's kind of like a societal thing plus brain chemistry thing. Is there any scientific evidence that supports non-binary identities existing, rather than somebody saying, I identify as a lamp, I am a lamp now?
Yeah, that's not analogous. Lamps are not humans. Lamps are not sexual agents.
It's the same thing. You're claiming something that's not a reality and saying, I am this.
No, it isn't. No, you're just dismissing it because you want to be ignorant, right? The reality is that there's tons of evidence behind this. It's called brain sex shifted towards gender identity. This is a study done where we can look at transgender people's brains and we see that they are different from the sex that they were assigned at birth.
Totally believe in that. Yeah, I totally believe gender dysphoria exists. I believe in all that, but for non-binary people, I don't understand how gender dysphoria, and it doesn't seem to have been proven, can make you dysphoric to where you don't want to be a man or a woman and you want to be neither.
Yeah, that's just how the human brain operates. There's a complex way in which the brain works, and there's many different ways to identify yourself. Look, it seems like you just don't understand their brains. You just don't understand how they think. So you just want to pretend that it doesn't exist.
I haven't seen evidence.
Well, the evidence is that people identify as those things, right? That's the evidence. They identify as these things. That's how they really feel.
If I identified as a person with 3 arms, would that make arms a spectrum?
That's not analogous because your 3 arms, your physiology is not tied to your sexuality or gender.
Is there any scientific proof of non-binary people, like neurology, something like that existing?
Again, I don't know why it's so hard to understand for you guys. Gender identities are not a physical thing. They're social constructs, right? Gender identities are not physiological. They're not sex. They're not physical things. They're just constructs that society's produced. So you're looking for something that doesn't exist, right? Just as there's no evidence that you're straight, there's no evidence that this person's non-binary. It's just how we think mentally. It's neurochemistry in the mind. So
awful comparison, because you can tell neurologically if somebody is straight.
No, you cannot tell if somebody is straight or not necessarily.
You can't tell neurologically if somebody's non-binary, but you could tell if somebody's straight. Go ahead and show a straight woman pictures of other women's boobs.
So we can't demonstrate that you're a woman. There is no such scientific test to do that because, again, gender identities are social.
How many genders do you think there are?
Yeah,
Out of curiosity.
there is no set number. Again, they're cultural, and it seems like you don't understand how gender identity works. I don't think you actually understand the thing you're debating.
You can say I don't understand over and over
Then,
again, but
okay,
you aren't
great.
proving anything to
Then,
me.
then
I
show
told
me
you there's
why.
no
Then
proof.
show me why gender must be binary.
No other definitions make sense, and it becomes really illogical.
That's
really,
not an argument. That's not an
you
argument.
can't
What?
prove
Man,
non-binary exists.
please. Show me that gender identities must be binary, that it's either man or woman. Show me that those are the only two possible options. Can you do that for us?
You're claiming gender is a spectrum. The burden of proof is on you.
Because that's how people identify.
I can identify as somebody with antisocial personality disorder. Do I have it?
That's not analogous to gender.
It's literally the same thing
No,
you
it
just
is not.
said.
No, it is
Just
not.
replace some words around.
Man, please listen. Gender is not physiological. Okay, gender is completely social, neurochemical. Comes from the brain. Okay. So yes, we can ask people, hey, how do you feel about this sexually? How do you feel about this as a sexual agent in society? And they will say non-binary. They don't fit within those definitions you provide for them. Because guess what? There are no objective definitions of what a woman is. There's no test I can perform to show that you're a woman. There is no such test. Gender identities don't exist in the physical world.
Words have meaning. Woman throughout
they
our
don't. No,
society
they don't.
has meant
No, they
somebody
don't.
who's female,
No,
and
they
whenever
don't.
you try, are you
No.
going to interrupt me?
Words do not
Really?
have.
I'm cooking
You're
you
wrong.
that bad right now.
You're wrong. Words do not have meaning. They have usages.
What happens is you try and change words and it no longer makes sense anymore. If I say a
What
woman
doesn't
is
make
somebody
sense?
that identifies
So
as
what-
a woman, what is a woman? I hate
It
to pull a
depends.
Matt
It
Walsh on you
depends
right
on
now,
it
but
depends on the culture. There is no set definition of what a
okay,
woman
give
is.
me a cultural definition for what a woman could be. It's not going to make
Somebody
sense, I guarantee you.
somebody who's feminine, who watches Barbie.
Somebody
That's
who's
what-
feminine, so a
Yeah.
gay man that has feminine traits is a woman all of a sudden?
Again, no, there's a plethora of other traits and characteristics, not just those two. Those are a couple examples of what a woman is.
Okay, so I
Again,
just
there-
debunked that example. Give me another example.
No, ma'am, you're not going to do this. You're not recognizing the complexities of sex and gender and sexuality. Okay, it's not just two characteristics. Again, there is no set definition of what a woman is. It doesn't exist. Okay, it
You
depends.
can't
Hold
make
on.
up one that makes
Hold
sense.
on. In other countries, for example, what a woman is somebody who's masculine, who does other things that we would consider men doing, right? So again, this is a complex, nuanced issue that you just don't understand because you just want to say, no, it's either man or woman, because you don't understand the complexities of the human psyche. It's not just man or woman.
Understand that
There's a
femininity and
plethora.
masculinity are
There's a plethora of gender identities because people identify differently according to their given cultures. Because gender identities are culturally made, they're not real. So again, why is there only two genders? Go ahead, let's hear that. Why
because there's
must it
only
be?
two definitions that would make sense.
Who makes up the definitions?
Culture, I guess.
Exactly. So there
That does
could be
not
many
make it a
definitions
cultural
of culture.
construct.
So
You
then,
cannot define a
ma'am,
woman.
please, ma'am.
What is a woman?
You're not going to do this shit, right? This is dumb. You're asking a malformed question. There is no one definition for what a woman is. Gender identities are just characteristics that people have, and they tend to be tethered to sexuality. There is no objective
Definition of a tree? Is there one definition of a dog? Is there one
No.
definition of a door?
Look. You
It
keep
doesn't-
doing this. Shh, ma'am. You keep doing this, but you look silly. because gender is not analogous to physiology. It's not analogous to a tree or a dog or a cat. Gender is tied to our neurochemistry. That's what gender means. Okay, so stop using this Matt Walsh garbage. Stop being transphobic, stop being gender critical, and understand what gender identity means. This is why you're looking silly. You don't know what it means. It's cultural. Okay, so show me why there must be two binary genders. Why must there be two genders? Why?
Because a definition of a tree is a tree. It doesn't change. A
Man,
tree is
you're
not
going
a
on a
shrub.
tangent. We're not talking about trees. We're talking about genders.
You knew what I was getting at. You're trying to dodge
No,
it.
we
I
don't
get
know
it.
what you're getting at because you don't understand the thing you're debating here, right? You have
I've
to go.
shown I've understood this whole time.
What does gender mean? What does gender identity mean?
Gender identity means the gender that somebody identifies as. I thought
Wow,
we didn't
man,
like
that's
definitions
a
over
very
here,
nice
but
tautology, but can you actually describe what it means without using the word gender?
identifying as a different sex, like,
No, you don't understand. Again, you don't understand what gender identity
okay,
means.
you defined it.
You don't know what it means. Listen carefully this time. Gender identity are the characteristics, traits, norms, behaviors, roles that people associate themselves with sexually within a given culture. That's gender identity. They are cultural, which means, and societal, which means that we made them up. They're not, you can't study them scientifically.
You
They
literally
made them up.
repeated
They're
what I
just
just said
labels. They're
and
just
added a
labels.
couple words.
So that's why there could be many, oh my, can you stop with the echo? It's very fucking frustrating. Okay. The reason why there's many genders is because there's many ways to express yourselves within given cultures. Because under the umbrella of gender identity, there's many different labels and definitions that have different usages. That's why gender identities, multiple of them exist. It's never just two. Transgender, gender fluid, non-binary, man, woman, these are all genders, gender identities that people can associate themselves with because
It's called
the brain is
trans woman, its own gender. Aren't trans woman woman? Isn't that what you say? Like, I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, that's a gender identity.
Trans woman is a gender, not just woman.
Yeah, trans woman is a gender.
And why is that?
Because that is the gender that is associated with a trans woman, right?
So what are
Somebody
trans
with-
women identifying as? Are they identifying as trans woman or are they identifying as woman?
Trans woman.
So trans women aren't women too.
They are women. That's what women mean.
You just contradicted yourself, bro.
Do you even know what a trans woman is?
Lord, you're just gonna add in extra words and act like I totally bombed the definition again, aren't you?
Yeah, you don't really know what you're talking about. This is why you sound
Okay,
silly.
you asked me
A trans woman
what
is
the
somebody who
definition. Okay.
Ma'am, please
You
stop, please
asked
stop.
me what the definition was.
Ma'am, you're making this so confused because you don't understand what you're talking about. Gender identity, again, is the thing I just mentioned before. A trans woman is somebody who identifies as a woman but is also trans. The two can be simultaneously true. So that's why they are women. They identify as women. So why must it be that there are only two genders? Can you show that? Can you demonstrate to us that there can only be two genders?
There is no other way you could describe woman or male to where it makes sense.
That was just gibberish, right? That was gibberish. I asked you a simple question. Why
Because your
must there
side
be
can't make a
only-
coherent definition of woman and man. If
Why
I say
why must there be only two gender identities?
close your eyes and imagine a flower. Did you
Ma'am,
imagine
please-
a tree?
Ma'am, please answer
Words
the
have
question.
meaning.
Why must there be two gender identities?
Because nothing else makes sense. Prove to me that there's
That's
more.
your opinion.
You have
That's,
yet to
that's
do
your
that.
opinion. That's your opinion.
Well,
Why
prove me
must there be
wrong.
two? Your opinion, it does not. It's not needed. It's not required. It's
You're
irrelevant.
saying gender is a spectrum. Argue your side.
Yes, because people identify as different genders in our society. They're cultural.
Some people are born with one leg. Are legs a spectrum?
Oh my gosh, physiology is not tethered to sexuality.
Bro.
Physiology is not at all related to gender.
Is there, so if gender is a social construct, it's completely limitless. Could you identify as cat gender? A gender in which
Genders
you
are
get gender
not
euphoria from feeling like a cat? Like,
Stop. Genders are not related to cats. Genders are not related to physiology. Genders are not related to other species. Gender is related to your neurochemistry.
I'm gonna address what I just said at all because you knew the point I was getting at.
And it's shitty. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is what you transphobic people do. Oh, can I identify as a bowling ball? I know it's funny to you guys, but the problem is that's a very bad argument because gender has nothing to do with your physiology. It has to do with your brain, with your sexuality, with your brain chemistry. It has nothing to do with physiology. So stop making this terrible argument. It's bad and it shows your ignorance on the issue. Now, for the last time, demonstrate that there are only two genders and that there cannot be other genders. Let's hear it.
I'm not gonna repeat myself one more time, but biology is real.
Okay, bye-bye. Gender has nothing to do with biology. Gender has nothing to do with your biology. It has to do with your neurochemistry. Vastly different. Our sexualities are determined by our neurochemistry. If I think I'm a man, that's determined by my neurochemistry. There's nothing wrong with identifying as a man or a woman. So what if somebody is a trans woman? All that means is we take my brain, we put it into a female body. It's the same sexuality, the same thinking, the same identity, just a different body. That's a trans man. That's simple, guys. It's really that simple. It's not hard. It's not brain surgery.
I ain't gonna lie, she just cooked the shit out of you.
Okay, great. So what was the
Cooked the
argument?
shit out of you.
So what was the
Cooked
argument?
the shit out of you.
Yeah, look, guys, I know you guys all wanted to defeat me. You all want to shut me down. It's not going to happen. You don't understand what you're debating, right? You guys have no idea what you're talking about. Gender identity has nothing to do with your genitals, has nothing to do with your body, has nothing to do with anything physiological or biological, necessarily. It has to do with your neurochemistry, how you think, how you feel, those things. And they're tied to your sexuality, they're tied to the sexual aspects of the brain. And we can measure this. We can see transgender people's brains. Their gender identities align with their brain structure, not with their bodies. So that's the point, guys. There's a lot of nuance here. There's a lot of complexities that you guys just don't understand.
Was my daddy a man or a woman?
Come on, sir. Do you have an actual argument or no?
That's my argument. Was my daddy a man or a woman?
That's irrelevant to the topic at hand. Next.
Yeah, hi. There's a difference. It's called DNA.
That has nothing
You
to
have
do
no
with your
logical
gender.
argument.
That has nothing to do with your gender. Gender has
Yes,
to do
it does. It has everything to do with because
ma'am,
whatever you're born
okay,
is, that's what you will
okay,
stay as, regardless
relax,
if you're transgender.
Relax. What is gender, ma'am? Do you know what gender is?
Yes, gender is male or female, and that other
Wrong.
girl cooked you and told you because you don't know diddly
Ma'am,
squat.
that's incorrect. Gender is not sex.
Yes,
Sex-
it is. Why do you
Nope.
think you go on forums? Why do you think you fill out driver's
Ma'am,
license?
Please stop. Please stop and relax. I know this is making you anxious, but just relax. Sex is chromosomal, has to do with your XY chromosomes, things like that. Gender has to do with your neurochemistry, not your physiology, okay? Gender identities are socially constructed in our culture, in our society, in our world. Man, what a woman is, what a man is. There's no objective definition for those things. So I agree that male and female are sexes, but genders, there's a spectrum of them, because there is no objective definition of what a woman or man are. This is not just me talking. This is the World Health Organization, which demonstrates that there are multiple gender identities, and we can scientifically
Female,
see this.
she, her, male, him, his,
That's
he.
not
It's
evidence.
that simple.
Man, you just
That
spouting
you
nonsense.
have no idea what.
Just spouting nonsense is not good evidence. Give me a
Oh,
source
you
for your
know,
claims.
you need to shut up and listen.
Give me your source for your
Because
claims. Give me your source for your
God
claims.
created two genders.
There is no God.
Yes, there is.
Prove it.
And you are going to be in trouble with him, and you are going to be at the
Okay,
bottom
great.
of
So then give me
the
evidence
fire
of
of
this
lake.
God. Then give me evidence of God, and then show me your source for why there's
You
only
are-
two genders.
You and I and everybody in this world is evidence that God exists. The air you
Why?
breathe is
Why?
proof
How
that
is
God
air-
exists.
How is
This whole
air-
world.
Man,
Genesis 1. God created the heavens and the earth.
and Dr. Seuss said I like green eggs and ham. Congratulations.
Dr. Seuss is fake. It doesn't
So is your
exist.
God.
God
So is your
exists.
God. So is your God.
Just like Harry Potter, just like Spider-Man. That's all fake.
Just like your God.
Hey, then I got a question. Why do you bring the name God up if you don't think he is real? Let me ask you that.
Because I'm trying to attract people like you to make you guys look silly.
No,
like
because
you're
you
doing,
think
and
you're making yourself look
congratulations, you're
dumb.
making yourself look silly by not actually.
No, because
engaging
you're
in the
talking.
debate.
I think you actually believe in God.
No,
Because
I
why would you
actually
even
don't
bring
believe
him
in
up if you
God,
don't think
and
he
I would
exists?
appreciate if
Why
you
would you
stopped
bring
tell-
someone that you think?
I would appreciate if you stop telling me what I believe and you start providing evidence for what you believe.
We are evidence that God exists.
Why?
Genesis
How?
1. In the
How?
beginning,
How?
God created
How-
the
how
heavens
are
and
we
the earth.
evidence? Ma'am, how are we evidence of God when we could be evidence of
God gave us life. God
Prove
knew
it.
us before we were born.
Prove it.
John 3:16. Why don't you
That's
go
just
take a
the-
trip to Israel
That's just the verse in
and
the
go
Bible,
check
ma'am.
out
That's just the
everything?
verse. That's
Because
just
they
the
will tell you up
verse.
and down
Ma'am,
that God exists.
please,
Jesus died on the
relax.
cross for our sins, and he rose again 3 days later.
Okay. Congratulations, ma'am. You can read. Now, can you demonstrate that God exists, or you're just going to keep reciting?
Yeah,
verses
it's
that
called the
don't mean
sun, the stars, the trees, the
anything?
plant life.
Okay,
God
great.
made you male.
Okay, great. So,
God made you a male.
Okay, great. So can you
Whether
demonstrate?
you are a transgender
Ma'am?
or not.
Ma'am, can you demonstrate that stars equals God?
God put the stars in the sky.
Prove it.
Go look in the Bible. Genesis 1.
Wait, ma'am, do you think the
The
stars
world
are...
were shrouded in darkness. He
Ma'am,
put in the sun, in
ma'am,
the sky.
ma'am,
He created
Amanda?
the moon.
Amanda?
He
do you think-
created the.
Amanda? She got kicked out. Guys, I know it's a struggle for you guys to comprehend. I know it's such a struggle to comprehend gender, but just listen to what I'm saying. It's backed by evidence and data. The World Health Organization is a great source to learn more about what gender identities mean. There is no physical ties to gender. There is no biological tie to gender. I can't choose to be gay. I can't choose to be straight. These are neurochemical things. Please learn what gender identity means.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
Yeah, so earlier I had heard that you had mentioned that, transgender is just putting a male's mind in a female body.
Generally, yes.
Okay, so we can agree that, like, the brain can indicate whether you are male or female, right?
No, the brain, it's not as binary as that. There's there's a complexity to the brain, but typically, yes, we can see a typical structure for what a male brain is versus a typical structure for what a female brain is. But
Right, so
there's
there's a
always nuance.
distinction.
But there's always nuance.
But there's a distinction.
Yes, it's a very slight
Okay.
distinction.
Okay, so if there's a distinction and we put that in a female body, would you say that this automatically operates as female?
No. Do you know the difference between sex and gender?
Wait, yeah, but that wasn't my question.
Well, your question was malformed, right? Because a female brain in a male body would render them a different gender than they were assigned at birth, right?
So is this when you guys represent this as like transgender?
Yeah. So what is your contention here?
Yeah, so my contention here is just more so what you would represent transgender to be. So when you say that you're putting a male's brain in a female body, does this mean that a transgender is not a male becoming a female, but this is yet, just a male taking on the body of a female? There is no, like, he is actually taking on as a female because
when when I say we put a male brain in a female body, that's just an analogy for what dictates our gender are neurochemical reasons, prenatal hormones, all kinds of embryonic and fetal development processes. So it's not like we're actually taking your brain and putting it into another person's body, right? That's just analogous to the development process of our bodies.
No, wait, yeah, obviously.
Okay, great. So there's nothing wrong with somebody that's transgender. They just think like the opposite sex.
Wait, but if you think like the opposite sex, then we would say there is no distinction. But since we clearly see the distinction, then therefore you're not just thinking like the opposite sex, but you are not the opposite sex because of the distinction we see.
Sex isn't gender. Sex doesn't change. Gender does change.
I agree. Wait, hang on. If gender
does change because your gender might align with your specific culture.
Okay, so gender is something that we see in the brain, correct? We can agree?
No. Gender
We don't
is
see
something
gender in
that
the brain
is
at all?
tied. Gender is something that's tied to the brain. Gender identity is something tied to the brain. But it's not like we look into your brain and we see, oh, you're a woman, you're a man. That's not possible.
No, that's
what
not what
we're
I'm saying.
is that the brain structure can influence your gender identity.
It's not even necessarily what we would see as an influence, but we see a dramatic case of one or the other. For example, like, the chemicals in which of a female's brain operate, drastically distinct from a male's, structure of the brain.
I understand that. Now, what is
wait,
your
hang on,
point?
can I
What's your
finish?
point? But
Yeah,
what's your
so my,
what's your point?
yeah, so, yeah, I was about to get there. So my point is if we see a distinction in which of gender between the structure of a brain, right, then when we operate this into a
No.
different body.
We don't
Wow,
see
you don't-
differences in gender.
Okay, wait, hang on. But we just explained. Yeah, wait, hang on. But we just explained that we do see a distinction in the brain of which male and female. Okay.
There's
So if
different
we
brain sexes, yes, but there's no different brain genders.
okay, so does the brain of the sex, altercate the gender?
The brain all influences the gender, not necessarily the brain sex.
Wait, hang on. That's not what I asked.
Well, then that answered your question because your question's
No,
malformed.
Wait, hang on. Wait, if I ask you a question and you
brain-
didn't.
Hold on, ma'am.
Okay,
My
go ahead.
brain sex does not necessarily dictate my gender.
It doesn't.
It's
Then
just
why do we see a
associated to it.
significant?
There are a multitude of factors, of course. The brain is complex.
I agree. We don't even
Okay,
understand the
great. So
entire.
then what is your contention here?
I've been trying to tell you, but you keep interrupting me. So again, the problem here that you're having is that if we see an extreme distinction in which of a female and of a male, right, there is a distinction. So we can see that the influence of the brain is causing this distinction, right? So if the influence of the brain in the male and the influence of the brain in the female are both distinct, then we can see distinctions between male and female. Therefore, putting one operation under the body of another does not make any sense. It's illogical and immoral.
We're not putting your body into another person's body.
That's literally your brain into another person's body.
That's not what we're doing.
That's
Nobody's
what you
doing
said. That's what you said. Those were your words, not mine.
that. Okay, ma'am, how old are you?
Why is that relevant?
Ma'am, please answer the question. How old are you?
How is that relevant?
Okay, have a good day. Guys, her argument was nothing. There is no argument there, right? There's no argument there. She was just misunderstanding what I was saying. I don't actually think we take your brain and put it into another person's body. Right? That was analogous to embryonic development. Look, I know you guys are all against me. But just listen to what I'm saying carefully. Stop letting your bias get in the way. Stop being so biased here and just listen to me. Gender identities are social. They're cultural. They're a real phenomenon, okay? There isn't just two genders, there's a spectrum of genders. And I know this is so hard for you guys. It's like, oh, but I just taught my entire life it's either man or woman, and that's it. No, we're learning now that we are complicated. Sexuality, they're complicated. It's not binary, guys. You need a bit more critical thinking skills for this, okay? Hey, how are you?
All right. First part, God isn't real. Okay. I'm gonna say now that the thing called BC8, right? BC before Christ.
So you're cutting out, so your Wi-Fi is terrible.
Oh, my bad. Okay, for the first part is.
Okay, come back when your Wi-Fi gets better, okay?
What's happening?
Hi, how can I help you?
So you don't think it's a mental illness?
No, there is no mental illness involved in being transgender. Can you point me to a source that shows that there's a mental illness?
Yeah, if you're male and think you're female, obviously there's a mental illness. I mean,
that's actually not what people don't think they're females or males. What we're saying is that there are people who don't align with the genders that you prescribe them at birth, right? That's what we're saying.
Yeah, so they could think they're a male.
Where is the mental illness there?
Well, I'll give you an example. I ran into a guy today.
No, don't give an example. Give a source that shows that it's a mental illness.
How could it not be?
Because there's
How could it not be? If you're born a male,
there's no dysfunction.
and you think you're a female, how could it not be?
That's not what it means to be transgender, sir. Do you know that there's a difference between gender and sex?
There's not.
Well, there is.
There is. It's called mental illness.
There is, sir. You just don't understand these people because you're so ignorant.
Okay,
Stop talking, sir. Let me educate you now because you don't understand the topic at hand. The World Health Organization says that gender refers to the characteristics of women, men that are socially constructed. This includes norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a man, woman, girl, or boy. It's a social construct. It varies society to society. It can change over time. That's gender. It is tied to our brain chemistry, neurochemistry. Sex is chromosomal. It is dependent on your chromosomes, male or female. Yes, there's two sexes, male, female. There's also intersex, but typically there's two sexes. Gender is different. Gender is a different subset of identities that are socially constructed, not at all tethered to sex. Do you understand now?
Well, I understand that you're reading a bunch of BS. I mean, I ran into a guy today. That thinks he's.
You're not going to sit up here and say it's BS without demonstrating it. Give me sources. You're in a debate stage. Give a source. Give data. Don't just say I disagree. Give data or go away. And you're muted, sir, so please unmute yourself.
There's different neuro.
Excuse me?
Give me data that their brain is different neuro signals or whatever.
Sure. Here's World Health Organization. It's just type in World Health Organization international health topic / gender. You can, it tells you all about it. Gender dysphoria. Here's a gender dysphoria study. I mean, I can give you multiple studies, sir. Here's brain sex shifted toward gender identity. This is another study.
It's called, you know what it's called? It's called brainwashing. Brainwashing.
Prove it.
What do you mean prove it? Not, I bet you 90% of the people would agree with me in the whole world.
Doesn't make it true. That's an
it does make it true.
Fallacy.
It's a mental illness.
Sir, please. This is an ad populum fallacy. Give me a source for your claims or go away.
Dude, I ran into a guy today. He said he was Jesus.
That's crazy. Okay? That's crazy. Not being who you are. Not being who you are. Your sex, you're born gay. You don't choose it. You don't choose your sexuality. You don't choose your gender. That is something that is tied to our brain chemistry.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
So I have a question. You believe God isn't a real concept because it's a human-made concept, correct?
Oh, there's no evidence for it.
There's no evidence of what?
Of a God.
Okay. But do you believe that it's a human-made concept?
Sure.
Okay, so is gender. So if you don't believe in God, how can you believe in gender ideology?
Gender is tied to a neurochemical phenomenon. God is not.
What neurochemical phenomenon?
The hypothalamus, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, all these parts of the brain give rise to gender.
Gender is that biochemical interaction.
Sir,
can manifest and proliferate into.
Sir, how old are you? How old are you?
25.
Okay. Please educate yourself on what gender identity means. Okay. Yes, gender identity is a social construct. The definitions we use to describe man or woman, those are just made up. There is no such thing as a man or woman, objectively speaking, in our world. That's a label. However, what is not made up is our brain chemistry. That is something that is physical and real and tangible that gives rise to our sexuality and to our gender identity.
So if I decide I am a unicorn because my prefrontal cortex decides me, biochemically decides that I'm that. That's logical, scientific backed evidence, in fact.
No, because that's dysanalysis. Gender is not tied to physiology. Gender is not tied to biology. Gender is tied to neurochemistry.
According to who?
The data and the science. I mean, World Health Organization shows that this is true. We also know that there's studies called brain sex shifted toward gender identity, which shows this. Another one, biological sex classification with structural MRI data shows increased misclassification in transgender women. I could go on and on with all the sources.
Okay, well, just because something, do you know about authority fallacy and how scientific research is conducted and how some research has good or bad? Let me finish. Let me speak and stop interrupting people. You interrupt people all night. Let me finish speaking.
No, because this is not true. I'm not appealing to authority. I'm appealing to evidence and data. I didn't just say, oh, because the WHO said it, therefore it is true. The WHO is not the authority here. I'm saying that the WHO simply classifies this. All the other studies I show further demonstrate this to be true. So actually give a coherent argument, evidence-based argument now.
Just because you have literature doesn't prove it's efficacious. You know how to decipher.
Okay, well, just because you have an opinion doesn't make it true either.
Oh, 100%. I agree. But
give an evidence
sources if they're the final fact.
Give an evidence-based argument or go away.
If you believe God isn't real, I'm not saying I believe in God or not. God is a man-made concept. Gender is a man-made concept as well.
Well, the problem is that God is incoherent. It's a made-up concept, but it's incoherent. Gender is coherent. Gender is tied to something real. God is not.
Well, God is tied to something real. People's morality and people's belief in being morally good and righteous.
So all you're doing is ad hoc tying these things to some imaginary concept.
Just like gender ideology. It's all made up.
When in fact, those are tied to the brain as well.
Gender is not real. It's all just a made up human concept, just like God is.
Gender identities are socially constructed, yes, but our brain types, our brain structures, our neurochemistry is not made up, and that's what gives rise to gender.
Do you believe in the binary sexes of male and female?
Sex, there's multiple different sexes. There's intersex, male.
Well, those
female.
Statistically, those are insignificant because those exceptions don't make the rule. They're like
well, just be clear that there are not just two sexes. Okay. Also, there are more than two genders because people identify in many different ways. There's a variety of ways to identify in society.
Well, intersex is like 1 in a million. I don't think that's statistically relevant to like prove an argument.
Well, it is. Well, 1 in a million is still thousands of people in our current society. So we should make sure that we mention that.
Okay, wait. What is intersex? Is both genders, right? They come out like both.
No,
they have male and female functions.
Sir, do you know what the distinction between gender and sex is?
Apologize. Sex. Phrase my terminology. When they're intersex, that means they're both sexes. Both functions?
Yeah, aspects of both sexes, yes.
Okay.
Now, do you have a coherent argument now that defeats what I'm saying here?
I mean, I was just coming here to ask you that question. Do you believe?
Okay, well, have a good day then. Because we're not here to answer questions. We're here to debate. Next. What's up? What's up, guys?
Hello?
Hi, how can I help you?
I want to talk about the God is real statement that you have.
Okay, how old are you?
21.
Okay.
Why do you not believe that God is real? Just because there's no evidence?
Yep, no evidence.
Okay, well, my first claim to you would be that's absolutely not how that works. Your evidence is through faith. Everyone has different evidence of God. The whole point of God is to have faith. So everyone has different evidence. My evidence would be different from yours. So if we both devoted our life and believed, he would show signs in different ways. And my second piece of evidence is there is literary evidence of people proving that the apostles were real people, and 5 of them have definite proof that they were executed.
Okay, well, who cares if somebody was a martyr, right? That doesn't make it God, doesn't mean God's real. How do you know God rose from the dead?
But then the position of that would be, right, 5 men died in gruesome deaths and wrote these letters about their gruesome deaths and died these gruesome deaths with smiles on their faces for a God that they believe. So all those 5 people that
we actually don't know that. We don't know. We don't
No.
know if the disciples were actually martyrs. We don't know that. You're presupposing that. How do you know they died for their belief in Jesus as a God?
There's studies. There's a man named Sean McDowell, and he wrote a book called The Fate of the Apostles.
Look,
and there's a bunch of
where
evidence.
in the Bible does it say that they were martyrs?
Excuse me?
Where in the Bible does it say that they were martyrs?
It doesn't, but it insinuates it.
Where?
It insinuates that Jesus. It doesn't even. Here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have my quotes up.
We don't know.
I don't have my. I don't have my quotes.
We don't actually know if anybody died for Jesus. Perhaps Peter was one of them. But again, even if 10 people died for Jesus, it doesn't make Jesus a God. People die for all kinds of gods. How about the Mayans? They died for their gods. Does that mean the Mayan gods are real? No. I don't think that's good evidence.
I don't have my scriptures up for you at all, but there's a bunch of other different evidences of a God being real. The way that the universe is designed is another amazing fact.
What design? I don't see design.
There's a million designs. What do you mean? The world is a beautiful.
How do you know? How do you know that the world was designed?
If gravity was any bit lighter or heavier, the world would compress or explode.
Okay. How do you know? How do you know that the universe was designed, though?
Because there's intelligence behind it.
That's a claim. Look, you're just making a claim there, right? How do you actually know that the universe was designed? Even if the universe would be different, it'd be destroyed. That doesn't make it designed. Just because there's a structure or order in the universe doesn't mean that there was somebody doing it, because the universe itself could have natural reasons why there's order. Gravity and things like this can allow for structure to happen. You don't need God for that.
You need someone to make something. The universe doesn't come from nothing. And another thing besides that point, if our generation was wiped out, let's say our generation was wiped out and the next 2 generations were wiped out, and there's some random kid and there's a book about the stuff that Obama did when he was president, and there's kings at that time and there's not presidents, does that mean that Obama wasn't real?
No, I'm not saying that Jesus wasn't real. I'm saying he wasn't a god. It's a different claim. But also, you're saying that everything that's structured or orderly needs a design, right? Hello? Hello? Yeah, you're saying that everything structured or orderly had to be designed?
Yes.
Okay. Is God structured?
No, because he's existence. It's itself. What do you mean?
So God is not structured. So he's chaotic? God's chaotic?
What are you trying to make? God is everything.
So God is, what do you mean God is everything? God is a piece of shit? God is a...
No, he made that. God is everything.
Okay, so then what is God? Is God structured or is God chaotic?
You can't put God under the law of structured or chaotic. God made structured and chaotic. Does
God follow laws? Does God operate under certain conditions?
I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. I can't.
Great. So then how can you possibly assert that because of the universe's configuration, it requires a God? How can you make that assertion if you don't even know what you're talking about? Answers it. You don't have a solution. All you're saying is there's got to be somebody doing this. Why? Why can't it be nature itself?
Because nature itself has never made something out of nothing.
That's not even relevant at all. Look. Do you know how star systems work?
No, I'm not educated on that.
Yeah, but what we have is a very chaotic entity, a gas cloud, becoming more orderly. There is nobody making a star. That's just gravity and angular momentum and physical laws of nature making structure out of chaos. There are mechanisms. There are many mechanisms in which we can yield order from chaos.
But this is what I'm telling you. I can just go farther and farther and farther back. Who made chaos? Who made the word chaos? Who made that gas that you're talking about?
Who? Maybe there is no who. Maybe things always were.
There can't be always were. There had to have been.
Why not?
Because something had to have been formed. There was a point where there's nothing.
Where? What was that point? Why can't there be a universe that is eternal?
Because God is eternal.
Look, no, that's not what he asked you. Why can't the universe be eternal? Why is that impossible?
I mean, it's not necessarily impossible, but that's not...
Okay. Well, then it's possible that the universe was always there. You don't need a creator. We don't need God.
I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say to you.
Okay, well, keep thinking, right? Look, think. It's good that you're thinking. And keep learning. But fortunately, let's get to the next guest here. No, you don't need God for anything. God is unnecessary. Keep tapping, guys. Let's get some more people in here. And please follow my channel for more debates.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
What is gender is a spectrum? What does that mean?
there are many different gender identities. Gender isn't binary. There's not just man or woman. There's many other genders because there's many different ways that people can identify within cultures.
May I ask you, what is it that you believe in if you don't believe in God?
I believe in facts and evidence.
Do you believe in evolution?
Yeah, evolution's a fact.
Okay, I have a question about that then.
Okay.
If evolution was real, why did the animals that we evolved from stop evolving into humans?
They didn't. They died off. All animals are evolving equally with us. Evolution is a constant process. It's just that evolution is like a tree. It branches out to different branches. And humans are just one branch of the tree of life.
Well, I just think that if we came from evolution, that whatever we came from, if evolution was real, that the things we evolved from would still be evolving into human beings.
No, evolution does not have some kind of
It just stopped.
fixation towards humanity. Humans are just one branch of the tree of life. It's not that everybody's going to turn into us. We're not the pinnacle of evolution. We're just one type of ape. And there are many other apes out there.
Where did the first human come from?
There was no first human. There's no such thing as a first person, because you can go back in time and there will always be somebody before that person. It's just that the changes are so gradual that it's barely noticeable. Much like you're aging, right? There was no one day you became a teenager or an adult. You're slowly, gradually aging. There was never one day where you became an adult.
No, we get born and then we die. That's natural.
Yeah, that's life. What's your point?
Yes, it is. My point is that I believe in God.
Okay, what's your argument for God?
I don't really know how you would look at this, but for me, I had 3 girls. I got my tubes tied. Once you get your tubes tied, you can't get pregnant again.
Right.
2 years later, I would pray for 2 years I prayed. And I told God that I knew that I got my tubes tied, but I always wanted a little boy. 2 years later, I ended up pregnant with my tubes tied with a little boy.
Okay, there are instances where you can still get pregnant. It's not impossible. It's not that you getting your tubes tied means it's impossible to get pregnant. It just reduces your chances greatly.
And then I got to keep him for 18 years until he was murdered and God called him home.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And if it wasn't for my faith in God, I wouldn't have made it through it. I would be in a mental institution somewhere. Or I would.
But look, the problem is that you made an assertion before. Unfortunately, 1 out of 200 tube ties end up possibly getting pregnant again. It happens all the time, right? People still get pregnant, even though their tubes are tied. So the point is that you, unfortunately, succumb to probability.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately for you, because it was good for you, because you wanted another child.
Even though I only got to keep him for 18 years.
Yeah.
But my faith in God is what's gotten me through my grief.
Understandable, completely understandable. But what I can tell you, ma'am, is that God is not needed for appreciating life. I appreciate life even without God. And I have people in my past pass away. I didn't need God to get through that necessarily. I can still be happy without God. I can still be a good person. I can still appreciate the ones we've lost without God. and I would argue in an even more rich way.
Mm-hmm.
When you recognize how fragile life is, how delicate life is, how finite we are.
Oh,
right?
I do know.
That changes everything about how you see the world.
By losing my baby, I know.
Yeah.
He was beat up by a group of people and drowned in 3 foot of water. So, I do know loss.
Yeah.
And I know grief, and I know pain, and I know mental illness now because of it. And
look, what I can tell you is to continue appreciating life. Right? You are.
It's hard to do when you get no justice.
I know it is hard. I understand. But appreciate as much as you can what you have.
I do.
This is
I do appreciate what I have. But I'm not trying to argue with you or anything like that. I was just commenting on your stuff. I believe God is real. And if that helps me through my grief and my suffering, then so be it. That's just what has gotten me through it.
I understand. I understand that. However, I will say that God is not needed to be appreciative or to get through something. It's not needed. But yes, it is helpful. I agree with you, ma'am. Yes. But it's not needed. There are other perspectives out there that I would even argue are perhaps more prosperous, more superior, more fulfilling. But again, everybody's different. However, some of us have different perspectives that are secular.
I have no problem with other people's beliefs and thoughts. I try to learn from everyone's beliefs and thoughts. I'm not judgmental on those kinds of things.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Well, thanks for being here, and I appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you for listening.
No problem. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, let's get the next guy in here.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
Okay, so how do you think the world was created?
It wasn't. By the way, how old are you?
14.
Okay. Please be above 18 to be up here, guys.
Mike, my good friend, how are you, man?
Hi, what do you got?
I asked you a question, how are you?
Good, doing all right. What do you got?
Great, man. Yeah, I only came up with you because a lot of people in chat were telling me to, but let's do it, man. So yeah, so you made a mistake last time, you made some error, right? You say that the purely actual cause could be a quantum state. This isn't true. The quantum state's made up of parts, right? This is just a fact. I researched into what you spoke about, but it's material, it's made up of parts, and it has the potential to change. This can't be the purely actual cause. So you didn't refute the purely actual thing with this. This doesn't answer the question.
Again, quantum states do not change in any objective sense, or again, quantum states don't necessarily change. They're eternal and unchanging.
This is made up of parts.
It doesn't matter if you're made of parts. They're not necessarily made of parts, right? We can view a quantum state as one singular thing, right? One wave function for the entire universe. That's a possibility. We can define the universe as one thing. But by the way, I would argue that God's made of parts.
God's not composite. We already went through how he's identical to his attributes.
Yeah.
And also to answer your question.
Unfortunately, that's not how you get rid of it. The problem remains that we exist within God.
Yeah, no. So to answer your question as well about the
So,
attributes having to be
no,
identical,
the
yeah.
problem is that if God is the boundary of all existence, we still
hmm
exist within God. So God is composed of parts.
Yeah, no, that's just not how this works. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what?
it's not a
Wait,
good-
that
it's
doesn't
not a
mean
good
that God.
argument.
Wait, that doesn't mean God's made of parts because we exist. I don't understand that God possesses the forms without becoming those forms. I already said God's pure essence, right?
Yeah,
But the point.
we can just say that for the point is that we can equally say this for the quantum state.
hmm
Right? The point is that if you're going to say that we exist, therefore, and the universe made of parts, therefore God, well, we can just say this for the quantum state.
Okay, so give me some properties of the quantum state. Give me some attributes of the quantum state. What does it consist of?
So just a wave function.
Okay, is it the cause for all being? Is it the grounding for all being?
Yeah.
Okay, so what makes this distinct from the theistic God?
No mind, no care, it's indifferent, it has no other properties except for one wave function.
Okay, how do you establish the difference between the wave function and a mind? Because this quantum state you talk of actually resembles God in a lot of ways, and that's what you're
No,
not
it
really
doesn't. No,
understanding.
it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Look, you're trying so hard to see
I'm not trying
in
hard.
your mind. Well, you don't need a mind. You don't need a mind for anything outside of our
Uh-huh.
own minds, right? So, what is your evidence that God exists?
You do need a mind to ground transcendental truths, right? Like objective truths, like logic and math. You do.
Right, those can come from our own minds.
Yeah, so you don't believe 2 + 2 equals 4 without the human mind.
There is no truth beyond the human mind.
Okay, so okay, interesting. So, when you say, when we went over God's attributes being identical to himself, right? When I mentioned the distinction between the attributes, when I say they're distinct, I mean it's a virtual distinction. So they're only distinct on the perception of man, but they're not actually distinct. So we make a distinction between.
Then we can appeal to the same thing to a quantum field, right? We're just virtually distinct from it. There we go.
A quantum state doesn't explain the ground.
Yes, they do. They do.
A quantum state doesn't explain the grounding for things like logic or math. Right?
Yes, it does, because
No, it doesn't.
logic comes from minds which are emergent.
Yeah,
The
so
mind is the emergent property of physical matter.
okay, so
it all fits in. Look, we can fit the entire universe within this singular definition.
Yeah.
It's just that logic is emergent, and that's it. We don't need a mind to ground logic beyond our own.
matter and energy cannot be the cause of an emergent mind.
Why not?
Because we don't observe that in reality.
Yes,
Consciousness
we
is
do.
not. Consciousness is not made up of matter and energy. That's not been proven. That's an assertion. It's
Well,
not.
there's evidence
asserting
that
that.
suggests. Look, there's evidence that suggests that consciousness is just a bioelectricity, the sum total of the bioelectricity of our brains and bodies. That's what evidence suggests. There's
that's
no
an-
evidence that minds are beyond the body or physics.
Okay, that's inductive logic. Okay, that's an inductive argument. You can't sit there and say that we have.
Again, there is evidence. For example,
Oh,
we
hey,
have,
sick.
we have, hold on. We
Yeah, go
have
ahead, go
actually hold on. We have altered the brainstem, and because of this, we actually see changes in consciousness levels. We can measure consciousness levels in people, and we can alter their states of consciousness. So this is evidence that consciousness is tied to a physical world. There is no evidence that consciousness is tied to a non-physical realm. So you're making a complete presupposition.
Okay.
So give evidence of this immaterial mind.
Okay. There's a guy in the live you should debate, by the way. His name's Sig. But anyway, let's get into this debate quickly. So, when you say the quantum state exists, right, and it's the ground of all being, it's the cause of the universe, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you accept the quantum state is made up of parts?
No, it's just one entity.
So it's pure. Okay. So is it purely actual or is it derived from something?
Purely actual.
Okay. Is it material?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I don't know anything of the universe that's material that we observe that's purely actual.
Well, that doesn't matter, right? We're talking about logical possibilities. So
okay, but a possibility doesn't make it plausible.
So what I'm positing is completely logical. Nothing about it. There's nothing illogical about it or inconsistent.
Okay, but you can't just give to give a possibility and say, well, just because it's not a contradiction, this means it's like a good possibility. It's just not true.
I never said it was a good possibility. I'm saying
Then
it
why
is a
present it?
possibility, and I would actually argue that it is a likely possibility because of the evidence that we have in inflationary cosmology. But also, I would say that you have no evidence of your God having a mind or needing a mind to ground logic. That's just, it seems like a tag argument which fails utterly on its face.
No, it's the only way that these truths can exist, bro, independent of the human mind.
Why do they need to exist beyond our minds?
Well, sure, you can just say logic and math, none of this actually exists. You can hold to that view.
That's not what I'm saying. I never
Wait,
said
are you
that.
Wait, are you a nominalist?
That's a straw man, right?
Wait, are you a nominalist?
Well, it doesn't matter what you label me as. The point is that we can ground logic and math in our minds. You don't need something beyond our minds to ground it in.
Okay. Okay, man. Alright, listen. As much as I want to debate you, there's a guy in here I think you should debate. His name's Sig, bro. Invite him up. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see that debate. Like, I'm gonna be so real.
Look, do you have evidence for God or not before I kick you?
You know what? Just so you skip to Sig, I'm gonna say no. Go ahead, man.
Okay.
Take the stage.
Thank you. He's not even up here, so Sig is not up here, so maybe he's scared. All right. Cap, he's not up here, guys. I don't see Sig anywhere. I don't see him up here. I'm not lying at all. He's really not up here. So, nice try. Hey, what do you...
What's up?
What's your argument?
I don't think gender's on a spectrum.
Okay. How old are you?
33.
Okay. And what's your argument?
Gender's not on a spectrum. It's based on your sex.
Yeah, that's an opinion. Where's your argument for that? Where's your evidence-based argument?
So when can you ever define gender without basing it on sex?
Every time. Gender is never about your sex. Sex and gender are different. Gender is neurochemical, sex is chromosomal.
Okay, so how do you know what a woman is if you don't base it on a female?
Well, woman could be based on females. That's just one aspect of what a woman is. There's many characteristics. Depends on the culture. There is no one definition of what a woman is. It doesn't exist. It depends on the culture.
Do you know what the definition of a woman is?
There is no objective definition. It depends on the culture.
How do you define something if there's no objective standpoint?
We don't need objective definitions to define something, right? What a woman is cultural, societal. It depends on our society.
So a man can be a woman is what you're telling me.
No, nobody said a man could be a woman.
But you said there's no
What we're saying
objective
is that there is
definition.
no one definition of what a woman is. Objectively speaking, it's cultural.
No, a woman is an adult human female.
That's your opinion.
No, that's a fact.
Prove it. When
You
the World
can't-
Health Organization redeems gender as characteristics and behaviors and norms and roles
Exactly.
associated with
And
women,
I'm asking
man,
you,
or girl.
and I'm asking you, what do you base gender on to figure out what it is? A man and a woman, what are they objectively based off
They're
of?
based on sexuality. They're based on the neurochemistry of the brain.
Exactly, being male or female, correct?
No, sex is only one aspect.
So why do they see a
fact,
little
it's-
boy and why do they see a little boy and a little girl? and they
Those
call
are
them
just
that?
genders. So those
And
are
what do
gender
they-
expressions.
and what do they look at to determine that?
They don't look at anything.
What do
They
doctors
look at their
to determine?
behaviors. They look at their gender roles. They look at their characteristics.
They look at a
They
baby's
don't
gender
look at their
role?
genital. No, they don't look at their genitals. That's sex. That's not gender. Learn the
That's
difference.
exactly what I just said.
Then learn the difference between gender and sex. They're two different things.
You can't have gender without sex.
Yes, you can.
No, you
Gender
can't.
is
Name
not
me one
related to sex.
situation.
Sir,
Name one
do
situation.
you know what, Doug, do you know what gender means?
Name me one situation where you
No,
can
sir.
have
Do
gender
you know
without
what?
sex.
Do you know what gender means?
Yeah, gender is referring to the species, and then we're talking about the state
you
of
don't even know what
maturity.
you don't even know what you're arguing against. You have
So
no
tell me one situation in which you're
Stop. You don't even know what you're talking about, right? You think you're gonna come up here like a conservative guy and go, you're wrong, Mike. There's only two genders. What do you know about gender? Nothing. Gender, again, deemed by the World Health Organization, are the characteristics that are deemed by society and cultures. For example, in many cultures, women have short hair. They are masculine. They make the money. They're the breadwinners of the family. In America, that's different. It's cultural, right? In Native Americans see women differently. Many men wear wigs. Many men wear wigs and they wear dresses.
Did you hear what I said at all?
It's your gender is determined by your brain chemistry.
It's determined by your sex. You don't know what a woman is without a female.
Give me evidence that gender is purely about sex.
You only are confused about gender because transgender people exist.
Give a source that gender is only about sex.
That's how they dictate it when you're born, buddy. Why do they call it a little boy?
Stop saying this stuff. Give evidence.
I'm giving you evidence.
Sir,
you're not
Stop. You're not giving evidence. You're just spouting your opinion. Give evidence that gender is binary.
You're not smarter than a doctor.
Give evidence. Where's your source?
I'm giving you evidence.
Where's your source?
When a doctor sees a
No, sir. Where's your source? Your scientific.
My source is doctors.
That's an appeal to authority. I want
that's exactly. You're not smarter than.
Sir, look. I understand doctors look at your genitals when you're born to determine your sex, but sex is different than gender.
No one determines your sex.
Learn the difference.
That's objective.
Sir, please. Doctors look at your genitals to determine your sex. However, when it comes to gender, it is not tied to your sex or genitals or physiology or biology. Gender is tied to your neurochemistry. So that's why it's cultural. There is no two genders. It's not either man or woman. There's an in-between. There's non-binary. There's gender fluid. There's transgender. All these things are real and exist in our world. Why are you denying these things exist?
Well, Mike, I'm just asking you one simple question, just with all due respect. Can you name me one situation in which you know what your gender is without basing it on anything with sex? Go.
Gender is cultural. There's a fundamental misunderstanding here. Gender has nothing to do with your genitals. It has to do with your brain chemistry.
So why do they call a little male baby a boy?
Because that's what we typically refer to them in our society.
You just made my point.
Now we're learning more about gender identities. Now we're learning that not everybody thinks they're a boy. Some people might be born.
So it's based on your feelings.
No, it's based on your neurochemistry. Some people might be born males. They might have female brains, however, right? They might have genitals like a male, but they have female brains. Hence, they would see themselves as a woman. This is what transgender means.
That's sex, correct?
No, that's gender.
You just said sex.
Listen. Somebody that's born a male might have a female brain. There's differences in the female-male brains. We can see this with MRI machines, and we have multiple studies I can point to which demonstrate the differences in the brain sexes. Now, again, if I put your brain into a female's body, you would consider yourself still a man because you're still the same person, personality-wise. So that's what transgender means. It doesn't mean sex, it means brain. So, give me evidence that gender must be binary and cannot be multitude. Let's hear it. Let's hear your evidence with a source, not doctors, an actual source.
What source do you have for your claim?
Well, the World Health Organization deems gender as that thing as we defined. We also have studies called the
doctors deemed that smoking cigarettes was good, didn't they?
Hold on. We also have something called a study called the brain sex shifted towards gender identity.
You're on a monologue right now, buddy.
I'm giving you the evidence, buddy. So the study demonstrates that there are differences between brain sexes, and people's gender identity tends to align with their brain sex, not their biology.
You're talking about feeling.
No, it's not a feeling. It's neurochemical.
Yeah, which is a feeling you have in your mind.
It's not just a feeling, right?
Do you know what neurology is?
Sir, feelings come and go. Gender doesn't. Gender is determined by the brain. It's sexuality, many other aspects.
Detransition.
There are many other factors that determine your gender, not just
Mike,
your.
Why do people detransition if feelings don't come and go?
Because perhaps sexuality is complex.
Oh, now. Now we're talking about sexuality,
I never said that sex is perfect or that genders are perfect. It's black and white. That's what you think. There are many complexities to gender.
No, there's
there are
not.
many complexities to the brain.
What does the DSM-5 say about transgender people? What is it registered
There's
as?
nothing-
Gender dysphoria.
Which is not a disorder.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. Where's the disorder?
It's a self-perception, buddy.
That's not a
How you
disorder.
feel about yourself.
Gender dysphoria is
You're
not
not
a
equipped
disorder.
for this conversation.
Sir,
You're
please
not.
stop. Please stop. Where does it say gender dysphoria is a disorder? Where? What source is that?
Do you change something?
No, what source is that?
Go into DSM-5.
Sir, what source
Go
says
into the
that gender
DSM-5
dysphoria
and
is a
look.
disorder?
Go into the DSM-5 and
Where-
look.
okay, where does
Do
it
your
say it's a
homework.
disorder? Where does
Go
it say
do your
it's a
homework
disorder?
right now.
Please make it quick, sir. Where does it say it's a disorder? Where?
Go
Where
look.
in the DSM?
Go look it up. You have a
No,
computer,
tell me.
smart guy.
Where in the DSM does it say?
Are you gonna look it up?
I did. It doesn't say it's a disorder.
Buddy, it's a disorder.
Where?
Why do you think
Where
you get
is it?
treated for it?
Demonstrate that. Demonstrate that. Where's
What
the
do you get
evidence of
treated
that?
for?
Where's your Sir, that doesn't make it a disorder. I could get treated for a
buddy.
cold. Sir, I could get treated for a sniffle. It doesn't make it a disorder. I'm asking for where it is a disorder.
Define what a disorder is. Let's see how smart you are.
A dysfunction that renders your daily life hard to come by.
Perfect. And what would
Yes.
somebody perceiving themselves as the opposite sex be?
Not a disorder at all.
That's
There's
not
no
a disorder?
There's no dysfunction there.
Yeah,
Where's
man. You
where's
keep waving
dysfunction?
that Skittle flag, horse face.
Oh, so now you're a disgusting person who wants to insult, who has only hatred in them. Learn. Learn about who people are. Learn. Guys, there is so much angst in the comment section. You guys are so angry. You're so against me. And I understand. I understand why. Because you're not used to what I'm saying. You're used to it being a man or a girl. But I'm sorry, guys. We are complex beings. Our brains are complex. We're learning more about each other. It's not just two genders. There are many. Because there are many ways to identify. There are many ways in which our brains can influence our genders. So stop being hateful, right? Be more kind. Be more understanding. Christians especially. Christians claim to be so loving and so compassionate. Well, how about you take the time to learn about people? That's compassion. Knowledge is compassion. Stop pretending to be nice. Be nice.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
All right. So the one point I just wanted to make really quick. This is my first time in your live, but when you were giving him your sources were appealing to authority as well, which is what you told him not to do. That's my first point.
No, that's incorrect. The sources I gave demonstrate methodologies, conclusions, and are evidence-based.
I disagree. My second question for
That's
you.
not an argument, right? Look, no, that's just not an argument, right? Sources are peer-reviewed studies. That's what I presented.
But I don't have
That's
to
not
live
a-
my life according to sources if I choose not to. I can also live my life according to my opinion.
Sure,
Correct?
but now you're in some la-la land, right? Come back to reality. Genders
Well,
are real. There are many different genders.
Trust me, I'm in reality. But I have a question, serious question based off your opinion. So based on what I'm hearing you say, and this is a dead serious question. If I wake up tomorrow and I decide to tell people that I've decided I'm an elephant, are people supposed to humor me and call me an elephant because I say I'm an elephant?
Of course not, because this is analogous to gender. Gender is not biological. Gender is not physiological. Gender is neurochemical. Has nothing. Being an elephant has nothing to do with your neurochemistry.
It all goes back to what we think about ourselves, which is the same. Whether I want to wake up
that's not the
tomorrow
only
and say I'm
factor.
a man, or I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm an elephant, what's the difference?
The difference is that gender is neurochemical, not biological. It's not about your species. It's about your neurochemistry.
But it all goes back to the way I think of myself.
No, not just how you think about yourself. It's also tied to your sexuality. It's also tied to many other sexual aspects of your brain, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, all these different emotional processing equipment in your brain. It has nothing to do with being an elephant or a cat or a dog. This is a common arguing point from the other side. That's a misunderstanding of what gender is.
To me, it sounds like if you at the end of the day, the bottom line is when I wake up tomorrow, and I'm going to speak in layman's terms. I don't need to have a degree. I can have common sense. I can live my life off of
common sense. Is typically not common. It's typically
Here we
not
go.
true.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to have a layman's term, like logical human to human conversation with you.
No,
and I feel like you just want to keep going back to the books. You want to go back to
yes, because that's how we run our arguments. They're evidence-based, not opinion-based, not emotional-based. They're based on arguments and evidence. You have appealed to emotion this entire debate.
You're right.
You've not given a single source. You're not given a single evidence.
And I'm proud of that. I don't want to live my life where I don't make a move or have an opinion based off of what the world around me, unless I look it up and look up sources.
Then you're
of what
being
other people
irresponsible.
Told me. If I look up sources,
guys, look. We live in a society where my actions, my behaviors, my words can influence your life. They do. My vote can influence your life. It is irresponsible to be deliberately ignorant on the world issues around you. That is irresponsible. That is emotional-based rationale. That's one of the biggest reasons why there is so much angst and nervousness and anxiety and depression and harm and suffering around us. Because people are not willing to learn. Learn. It's going to be okay. Transgender people are here to stay. They're not going anywhere, guys. So get used to it. Learn about them. Stop hating them and start learning about them. They're just like us. They're just people. There's nothing wrong with them. And even if there was, who cares? They're not affecting your life. Let them be. All right, let's get the next guy in here. Hi, how can I help you?
Hello, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So I'm an Eastern person, and I've never been to West. And all of this transgender and gender in general have always been a question to me. I came to you for enlightenment.
No, don't go to me for enlightenment. Go learn. Look at the research. Go look at the evidence. Go look at the studies. That's how you learn and become enlightened. Not by talking to me. I'm not some kind of Wizard of Oz.
Talking to other people, you exchange values.
Yes.
And you learn.
Yes, that's correct. But I don't have all the answers. You have to do your own research at some point, okay? But thank you for being here, and thank you for trying to be inquisitive. I'm not a teacher. I don't have all the answers. Hi, how can I help you? Why am I aggressive? Because people are aggressive against other people that are transgender, LGBT, right? You got religion's aggressive against me. That's why. Ignorance is aggressive.
Yeah.
Hi, how can I help you?
All right. So I ain't even gonna ask you about the gender thing, cause you're wrong about that. And
Well, I'm sorry,
and
sir, but you either debate me on
prove
that
to me
topic or
God
concede you have
real.
no argument.
Prove
How
to
old,
me God is not real.
how old are you?
Don't ask. I'm asking you a question.
How old
Prove
are
to me
you?
God ain't real.
How old are you?
15.
We are apes. Get over it. We're human beings. We're great apes.
You just been taking a couple L's tonight, haven't you?
Oh, let's see. Let's see if I am. Let's hear the argument that defeated me.
All right. Well, gender is obviously just two. I don't know how you can even in your head be like, there's multiple genders. That's crazy,
I'm
dog.
sorry, sir, but that's not actually an argument, right? So
How is it not an
what?
argument? You can literally stand up right now, take off your shirt, and you're not going to get banned or anything because you're a man.
Okay. What's
What
your
do you
point?
have in between your legs?
That's not gender. That's sex.
No, that's straight up your sex and your
Okay.
gender. What happens to you after
Okay,
you
sir.
die? What happens to
Sir,
your body?
how old are you, sir?
I'm 27. I'm
Okay.
old enough.
Do you know the difference between gender and sex?
Yeah, I know that I'm a man and you're a man, and we're two
sir.
men talking right now.
Sir, do you know that there's a difference between sex and gender?
There
Do you
is
know?
no difference. It's just a mental health disorder that people want to tell themselves, oh, I
Okay,
can be a
great.
girl, and then I can walk into any bathroom I want.
Look. You're not going to sit here and ramble about being your transphobia. Give a source. Give me evidence that it's a mental disorder. Give an evidence-based argument. Please, give a source. Give evidence. Give an argument. This is a debate stage. So give an actual evidence-based argument.
He's gonna lie to himself, dog, and I don't know why you're trying to lie to yourself. Like,
Sir, give an argument.
you're a skinny man and you like other men, who cares? But you don't have to be like,
Sir,
oh, I'm a
give an
girl.
argument. Give an argument.
Bro, what do you mean the argument? This is the argument.
Guys, I understand your sentiments. I understand your sentiment about this. That you think that it's ridiculous to be trans. It's ridiculous. There's many genders. No, I'm used to two. My mommy and daddy said there's only man and woman. I know that you guys think this. I understand you. But there's more to it. It's not as simple and binary as you think. There is an entire field of science that is unlocking new mysteries and new complexities about the brain and sexuality. Okay? So stop making it so difficult for yourself and learn.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, how can I help you?
Right, so I'm not really here to argue. I just want to get your opinion on why you think gender is a spectrum. So, what makes you say that?
Because gender is deemed by the World Health Organization as just characteristics or traits or behaviors or roles or norms that people culturally define. For example, a woman is not defined objectively, it's just a specific characteristic that certain people share in certain cultures. It differs between cultures.
Okay, so let me ask you something. How do you think everything started? So say at the beginning of the world, the beginning of the universe even, how did everything start?
Okay, wow.
Do you believe in the Big Bang?
There
Do you
is no
believe
such
in...
thing as a start necessarily.
So how do you think, what do you mean there's no such thing as a start?
There doesn't need to be a start.
But everything has a beginning.
Okay, where did God begin?
You can't really say there's no start because...
Okay, then where did God begin?
Sorry?
Where did God begin?
Well, God is bigger than all of us, so you can't comprehend God's power.
Sir, was God
is bigger than all of us.
Was God always there?
Yep.
So then why can't the universe always be there?
Because God is the creator of the universe. He is the king of the universe.
That's your opinion, and that's
He's always been there. It's not an opinion. Because
Then
God
give
is something
evidence.
that you
Then
can't
give
comprehend the
evidence for
size of.
God. Where's your evidence for God?
There's historical books. For example, I'm a Christian, I believe in the Bible, and the Bible is historical evidence that God exists.
Where's your evidence historically of God
I just
existing?
told you the evidence.
You just said a Bible. How is the Bible evidence?
Because the Bible is historical evidence of God. There was eyewitnesses of God that saw him get
That's saw
crucified
him
on the
what?
cross.
That's saw him what?
Sorry?
No, all you have is claims of eyewitnesses. You don't actually have eyewitness
It's not
accounts.
claims though, because you don't. I can say you don't have evidence either. Where's your evidence that there's multiple genders?
It's by definition there's multiple genders.
What definition?
You know what gender identity means? That people can identify as different things. That's what gender identity means. It's
So you're
cultural,
telling
it's
me,
social.
so I can be born a man, I can come out the womb as a man.
No.
I grow up. Let's say I turn 22. One day I just feel like a woman. Today I identify as a woman.
No, that's not how this works. It's
But
not
that's what
just
you're
about
saying. That's what
women.
you're saying.
That's not how it works, sir. You're misunderstanding how gender works. Again, it's a cultural phenomenon. If a culture designates a woman to be somebody who wears long hair, wears dresses, that's typically what a woman is in Western society, but that can differ between different societies. In some cultures, women have short hair and are masculine, and like some cultures, men wear dresses and are feminine, and you know, it depends on the culture. That's why you can't.
That's not really gender though. That's just culture.
That's why you can't blanket the entire world as either man or woman. It differs. There's a spectrum of genders.
So why don't you think God is real then?
Sir, you keep flip-flopping.
No, I'm just no. I know. I know. I'm just
Argue
asking you.
for. There is
It's
no
not
evidence of a
flip-flopping.
God. So far, all you said was the Bible. The Bible. And I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
say that.
historical evidence.
But okay, how about the Quran?
And you're saying gender is
Sir,
culture.
please. How about the Quran? Is the Quran historical evidence of Allah?
I don't believe in the Quran.
But it's historical evidence.
I don't believe in the Quran, so I can't tell you it's historical
Okay,
evidence.
great. So then what you're telling me is that your beliefs are hinged upon your own beliefs, your own opinions. Oh, I like this book better.
I can say the same thing about you though. You believe gender is cultural. I can say.
But it's real.
I can say it's your belief as well.
But there
I
are
can say
actual
I can
people-
say you're wrong.
Sir,
It doesn't.
Stop. You don't even understand what gender is.
Me.
I can identify as a man. Do you think that's a gender?
Yes.
Then you already believe in
There
genders.
is two genders,
You believe in
man
genders.
and woman.
Okay, great. So you already believe in genders. Now, do you believe if I took you, now do you identify as a man?
Yes.
Okay. If I took your brain and I put it into a female's body, would you still consider yourself a man?
Well, I wouldn't have a brain, so I can't consider myself anything.
Sir, please. If I took your brain which determines that you're a man, and I put your brain into a woman, to a female's body, would you consider yourself a man still?
No, I'm in a woman's body.
No, you're in a female's
I'm
body.
in a woman's body, so I'm a woman.
No, you're in a female's body.
How can I be a man in a woman's
Your
body? That
gender
doesn't make any
comes from your
sense.
brain, sir. You're not catching on. It's so hard for you guys.
It doesn't make any sense though.
Then listen carefully this
You're
time.
trying to transplant my brain into a
Listen
woman's body.
carefully, sir. Please listen carefully. Your brain says that you're a man, right? That's what your brain determines, that you're a man in this society, right? Now imagine if we take your same brain who thinks they're a man and put them into a female body. You would still think you're a man. Same brain. It's the same brain, right? So you still think you're a man in a female's body. That is transgenderism. That's what it means. That's what transgender people are. That's all it means. You understand now?
Okay, so anyway, for all of the people in the comments saying,
No, sir, you're not
Gus,
going to sit here and not engage in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm
You're
listening
not
to you.
here to babble. Did you listen to what I just told you?
Yes, I did, yes.
What did I say? What did I say?
You said something about transgenderism.
Oh my God. You're not listening. You're not listening.
I am.
Then please listen carefully this time.
Okay.
I take your brain. You think you're a man. We take your brain and put it into a female's body. You still would think you're a man, right?
No.
It's the same brain. It's your same brain, sir. It's the same brain. You're the same Nasco.
Yeah, but I'm in a woman's body, and I have a vagina, and I have
No,
tits.
you're in a female's body, but that's irrelevant to your brain, right? Whatever your body is, that's irrelevant to what
It
your
doesn't matter
brain
what's
is
in my
saying.
brain. It's about my body.
No, it's about your brain. That's the entire point. It's about your brain chemistry. You understand now? That's to do with your brain, not your body, not your genitals.
Can you give
your
me brain? What goes in your brain?
All right. Yeah,
Wait,
this
what do
guy's-
you identify as? What
yeah,
do you
this
identify
guy's
as?
not serious.
No,
Guys, please, if you're going to be up here honestly, please engage honestly, right? I know you guys want to be funny. I know you want to hate on me. I know you want to insult my looks. I know you want to do that so badly. But just engage if you want to be honest. Be honest, guys.
Yo, what you're saying is just not possible, bruh.
Why not?
Because you can't just take your brain and put it in someone else's body.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm like 15.
Yeah, we can tell. It's a hypothetical, guys. Do you guys know what hypotheticals are? It's a hypothetical, right? We're just saying that hypothetically, if we did this. Because in reality, it's analogous to what happens in your development, in your fetal development. Hormones can affect your sexuality, it can affect your brain structure, and then can affect your gender. Guys, it's really simple. You guys are making it so hard for yourselves because you don't understand science. So learn.
Can you hear me?
Hold you.
All right. I don't agree with either one, but I'm not going to change your mind on God. So the gender ones, since it's a spectrum, what are the two biggest ones that are out there?
That makes no sense. A spectrum
It
doesn't mean
makes
there's two. Stop. A spectrum does not mean there's two opposite ends. That's not necessarily what a spectrum means. A spectrum just
no.
means
I'm not saying there's two
different
opposite ends.
Sir,
I'm just-
please listen. Please listen. A
Alright.
spectrum does not mean that there's two ends. It means that there's variations of different things. That's all.
Okay, so the two that people mainly identify as was the question I was trying to ask you. What are the two big ones?
Man and woman.
So what is a man and what is a woman? Just to get the definitions out.
There are no objective definitions, right? What a man is dependent on your culture, your society, right? Your upbringing, your behaviors, your gender roles, your characteristics, your sexuality. All these things determine your gender, or what a man is, or what a woman is. There is no objective definition.
So if there's no objective definition, how can you contribute that to someone that identifies as that?
Because it's cultural, right? In my culture, I'm a man. I have short hair. I am masculine. I have a deep voice. I like army stuff. That's what a man typically is in my culture.
But I know women that have the same thing. Does that make them a man?
No, because again, those are not the only characteristics. Of course, there's a much more broader definition. There's a much more broader reasons why you designate yourself as a woman, right? And it can there could be a multitude of reasons why you deem yourself a woman. It's not just those things I mentioned. There's many more. That's the complexity you're not understanding.
I'm not saying I don't understand that. I think there's a lot of things that you don't understand that you feel like you're right. Your
Yeah,
opinion is a
this is not
fact
an
on.
look. This is not an argument. What is
I
your
know,
argument that shows there's only two genders and that is the only way it could be?
because gender, it's a social construct. So there's no real facts contemplating or basing gender to what people think it is.
There is characteristics, roles,
So
behaviors,
so
your
what makes it a
appearance.
fact and not just what
There's
people think?
there is no objective fact about your man or womanhood. There is no objective fact about it. They're just labels depending on your culture or society. That's what I just told you. There is no
So what
objective definition.
so what a man to me is could be a man to could be a woman to somebody else
Yes.
based on their culture.
Yes, you got it. You're
So
finally
why
getting it.
no,
Yes,
no,
you're
no. I
getting
I
it.
understood that the
Woo!
entire time. But why
Great.
when
So
I
then
say somebody's a
now
man,
you
why does
agree
that
that
make me
there's
wrong
different
if you think it's
genders.
somebody else?
Now you agree that there's different genders in different
No, I
cultures.
don't agree. Why does that make me wrong if I think somebody's a man and not a woman if the
Because
definition
that's the point.
isn't
Because they're different. They identify differently in different cultures. There's different characteristics attributed to those labels. That's the point. You're just simply dismissing the labels exist.
no, because it's not a fact. So why are
What's
people
not a
just
fact? What's not a fact?
the description is not a man because it's the what it is
How
for
about okay,
me.
sir? Can you give me a fact as to what a chair is? What's a chair?
I'm sitting in one right now. There's no social construct for a chair.
Well, exactly. There is no fact about what a chair is. Your mom could be a chair, right? Your mom
Nah,
could sit. I could sit in your
that
mom's
is
face, right?
that is not a
That
chair.
is what a chair could be. A chair
What's a
could be
chair by
anything.
definition? Because if you can't define
There
something, then it's not.
there is no
Hey,
objective
dude, I'm not gonna
definition.
change your mind, dude. You're
The point is there's no objective definition of what a chair is. It depends on the culture, it depends on the context, it depends on what you're talking about. Typically, we think a chair is 4 legs, you sit on it with a wooden, but some chairs can be metal. Some chairs can have 3 legs. Some chairs can be people. Some chairs can be pillows. Do you understand that that definitions are always subjective? There's never this objective definition that's universal. So that's the same that applies to gender, right? What somebody calls a man or a woman, it's just cultural. It's so simple, but you're making it so hard. Go ahead and unmute yourself, sir. You're muted. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So everything you defined was still a chair.
Exactly.
And
Just like
it's
a woman
not.
could be defined
It's
as many
not for.
different things.
Okay. Are you
Just
gonna
like
let
a
me talk?
woman
You're
could be
gonna mute me
defined
and
as
talk
many
over me
things.
again? Are you gonna let me talk? You're gonna talk over me again?
You're finally getting it, sir. You're doing a good job.
No. I know a chair is a chair, but if a woman is not a woman the way I describe it, then it's not a woman to me. So
Okay, well
if a
that's
woman,
what so
hold
what
on,
you're
I'm not done.
saying
I'm not done. I'm not done.
so what you're saying then is if it's not a metal chair, it's not a chair. That's what you're saying. If it's not a metal
That's
chair with
not what I'm
3 legs,
saying.
it's not a
A
chair.
chair is still a chair, just like
Exactly.
a woman is still a
Exactly. A
woman.
woman could be different things depending on your culture,
No,
your
it can't.
context.
A chair is a chair no matter what. A woman is a woman no matter what. Just like
I agree.
look, they're saying let me
I
talk,
agree. A woman is a woman. I agree. But
but can
you're
you
not, the
define that?
context is important. There's different
Can
characteristics a woman can have
like what?
within
Boobs?
different cultural contexts.
Like what defines a woman?
Your culture, your
It doesn't. No,
characteristics,
it
all
doesn't.
these things, depending
Just
on
like
where
what
you
defines a
are.
chair will be a chair.
In America, we
Here,
deem a
I'm
woman
getting a
to be.
call. I'm gonna jump back in later. I'm getting a call right now.
Okay, have a good day. But remember, he's not sitting on a chair because remember his car seat is not really a chair. It's something else. Anyway, guys, really simple. Gender, neurochemical, sex, chromosomal. Different, they're different, they're different. Really simple, guys. It's super duper simple. Doesn't take trigonometry or calculus or brain surgery to understand. Please follow. Please tap the screen. Hello? Hello? Brody? Hello? Hello?
So, can you tell me why you don't believe in God? And why do you think that gender is a spectrum?
Yeah, how old are you?
Old enough to know.
Okay, what year were you born?
97. Why does that matter?
Because, sir, we have to be 18 or older to be up
I'm
here.
over 18. Keep going.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm just asking. Relax. God's not real because there's no evidence for God. And gender's a spectrum because it's cultural. It's depending on your specific culture, your characteristics, sexuality, all of which can be complex.
All right. So, there's no proof that God isn't real. And if it depends on culture, then I can say the N word because I was raised in the ghetto. Is that true too? Because that's pretty much what you're saying.
No, it's not, right? Gender has nothing to do with your physiology or words like that. It's nothing to do with your skin color. It has to do with your neurochemistry. God, when we say there is no proof that God isn't real, I'm sorry, but that's not even what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's proof that God isn't real. But actually there is in certain circumstances. I mean, certain gods, like an evil God, if you say that God's all loving, but he's evil, that's a contradiction, right? So certain definitions of God can be debunked, but not all.
Right, but I mean, you're saying so there's no evidence of God, but you just haven't found it yourself because I myself have seen evidence of it. And I'm not just saying, oh, we went outside and seen a bird, or I've actually had spiritual encounters. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, great. So what spiritual encounter did you have?
I was literally dying because I was drugged and I saw hell and it made me want to change my ways. And I hope to God that never happens to you. Hopefully you will find God in a positive manner.
I understand, and I'm glad that you're still with us here. The problem is that people that undergo these near-death experiences can typically be dismissed as hallucinations, and these are well documented. Your brain, when your heart stops, your brain still is active for 5-10 minutes and can unleash certain chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, which then can give you these hallucinations.
All right, but how about if you saw a building in New York City and you were like, I mean, I don't believe anyone built that. It's a building there. There's no proof of the builder. Or a painting, you're like, there was no painter. I didn't see him paint that. Your creation. We're on Earth. That's a creation. That's proof of a creator. Yes or no?
No, because sure, I may look at a painting and say, oh, there must be a painter. But how about a volcano? Does every volcano need a magma man to make the volcano come up? No, not everything needs a creator. Some things are just natural. Some things can be explained through physics and chemistry and biology. So you don't need a man to make anything. All you need is physical laws.
Okay, how come physical laws just don't build buildings by themselves? Because it would be adaptable with reality today. So, I mean...
Well, again, everything is determined by physical laws, so they do. But of course, the medium in which it does it is an agent, like a person. But again, the entire universe as we know it does not require a designer. It could be a process that is natural in nature. It could be determined by the laws of nature themselves. You
All
never
right. So can
need-
I ask your how do you think the world came to be how it is today? Like, how do you think the world was created, essentially, and the universe?
Well, the world is a very ambiguous word. I mean, if you're talking about the Earth is the
How
product
about
of.
the universe?
We don't know. The universe could be way bigger than we can even imagine. We don't know how big it is.
But I'm asking, how do you think it was created? You personally?
Who said it was created? What if it wasn't?
I mean, it hasn't just been here forever.
Why not?
How so? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's literally dates and ages to everything.
And time is relative. Ages are relative. We don't know if there was an ultimate beginning. Ages are just snapshots in this perhaps infinite timeline.
But you believe so well in science, but you don't believe the Big Bang Theory is what created the universe?
First of all, science is not a belief. Science is a method. The Big Bang
But you have
is
to
not...
believe it.
No, I don't just believe. The evidence convinces. The evidence demonstrates things are true. Now, when it comes to the Big Bang is not the creation. The Big Bang is simply a phase the universe has undergone in its past. It does not mean that it's the beginning.
Okay. So you're sitting here saying that science pretty much like explains to you, and that's how you believe it because you were convinced. How do you figure it's not just a mass manipulation like NASA, for example?
There's no evidence. I base all my beliefs on the evidence, and there's no evidence that NASA's conspiracy theorists. There's no evidence of that. All the evidence suggests that we're just on a little rock in this vast cosmos, orbiting around a giant ball of plasma called the sun, in a remote part of the galaxy when there's billions of other galaxies.
So you just believe in nothing. Like, why even continue living? If you have a bad day, you might as well just off yourself, honestly, because there's no point if that's truly what you believe. Like, what gives you your moral compass? Why don't you just go fuck your cousin or something? It's insane to me.
Well, because I have a brain and I can understand my surroundings. I can understand that people around me are affected by my actions, and I can survey my world and extract appreciation from people, my family, my friends, my career, learning, nature. All these give me appreciation for the universe. Hence, I don't need a god to not fuck my cousin. I don't need a god to tell me, hey, don't fuck your cousin. I can come to that without a magic sky daddy. It's called logic.
Okay, but it's disrespectful to call him quote unquote sky daddy. Would you not agree? Are you atheist? Are you completely atheist or are you agnostic?
Both.
Okay, but if you're agnostic, you would respect the religion and not call him that. That's disrespectful.
Religions don't deserve respect. They don't respect me.
How do you figure that? People love you based on religion.
But the religion doesn't, because your religion says I should be killed.
Where?
Deuteronomy 13:6, Exodus 21:7, Leviticus 20:13. I mean, we take a look at all kinds of biblical verses that say I should die.
It says you should die. It doesn't say you're gonna die because you didn't.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but how is that respect to say that I should die? That doesn't seem very respectful to me.
Well, it's like if your dad was like, oh, you did that, I should whoop your ass, but I'm not gonna because I love you. How about that?
Well, I'm sorry, that's not analogous, because your God has killed people for all kinds of nonsensical reasons, like God in Samuel 15:3 killed babies. Why would God kill infants?
To teach lessons. Why would anyone abuse their child? To teach them to be grown and to act right and to come to their...
Your God killed babies in 1 Samuel 15:3. Why would that be?
I don't know, but I mean, I'd rather have died as a baby and went straight to heaven than have lived this horrible life that I've been through so far, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir, but...
When you're on Earth and you don't believe in God, let me tell you something real quick. If you don't believe in God and you're on Earth, this is the closest you will ever be to heaven. But if you're on Earth and you believe in God, this is the closest you'll ever be to hell.
God means nothing. God is just a word that you've attributed to some kind of emotional thing, some egotistical thing, right? And
It's
I know
not about
you've
ego.
hold on, I know you've gone through troubles in your life, and now you're reaching outward for some cosmic purpose. I understand that. However, there's another perspective out there. one in which there is no need for this kind of God. You don't need God to be appreciative or be loving or have a peaceful life. I'm very peaceful and happy in my life, and I don't need a God for that. God's not required for anything.
I understand that you don't believe in God, but what gives you the audacity to come on here and like try to disprove him every day to people who are like strong in their belief?
I'm not trying to disprove. I'm trying to get you thinking.
No, I think every day, bro. Trust me. I think more than anyone.
Okay, great. Then give the evidence for God.
Give the evidence for God. You're evidence for God. I'm evidence for God. The grass you walk on is evidence for God if you ever leave that room you're in. The birds outside are evidence.
Sir, how am I evidence of God?
God's name is Yahweh. Your veins are shaped like a Y. The tree branches are shaped like a Y. The grass blades are shaped like a Y. Your DNA is shaped like a Y. He is written all over you, bro, and you don't even know it.
How does a pattern mean God did it?
How does it not? Dude, it's in everything. It's in the air molecules. It's in your DNA. It's in your veins. It's literally, look at it all. It's in the tree branches.
Sir, the Tower of Pisa in Italy is shaped like a penis. Does that mean that there's a penis God?
Did he build that? Humans built that.
He's called the penis God.
Humans built that. You're literally being so disrespectful and childish right now. You can't argue like a human being.
It even has a slant to it.
Right, just like yours. I mean, you're just like...
Sir, this is the point. Your entire argument is hinged upon some basic pattern recognition that a baby can perform. Anybody can point out patterns. The problem is, how do these patterns correlate to something real? You've not done that.
My point is very strong, bro, and your point is literally based on nothing's real, nothing matters. My point is the same as
your point. Oh, look, here's a pattern in the sand. There must be a God. That's not at all evidence. Because it applies to any God you wanted to apply it to.
Yeah, right. But apparently, according to you, there's no God and nothing matters and just everything is the way it is. How can you trust your own brain? How can you trust your own thoughts if you think like that? It's just a clump of cells.
Right,
I mean,
but these clumps
based
of cells...
on your science, bro, the world was just an explosion. So if I go outside and throw a bunch... Hang on, let me finish. If I go outside and... That's like this 1,000,000 to 1. If I go outside and take a bunch of scrap metal and wood and doorknobs and screws and throw a grenade at it, I'm not going to build a house, bro. That's ridiculous.
Correct.
That's ridiculous logic.
However, the problem is that that's not analogous to the universe. The universe did not explode. Then magically all these things coalesced into us. There was a mechanism, there's physics, there's extensive laws of nature that a cascade of processes yielded the life that we know today. And what you're doing is you're admitting the past billions of years of evolution into your logic because you don't understand it. So from your perspective, you think that everything's too complex for it to have come about naturally. Well, I'm sorry, sir. There is a very well understood process by which we have occurred. Natural selection, biology, physics, all the above explain why we're here without a magic sky daddy.
All right, so how do you explain that the gravity is the exact way it needs to be in order for us to live and not float away into nothingness or even just fall to the ground so hard that everything inside of just disintegrates? How do you explain that we're the exact distance from the sun to where we can live and breathe every single day without burning in flames or freezing to death? How do you explain that the moon is so far away from us that we don't have tsunamis every single day taking us out? I mean...
Well, the moon was different in the past. The sun and the earth was different in the past. It's not that the universe was configured with us in mind. We happen to have evolved under these certain parameters in which we see today. That's why we're able to barely survive within these thin parameters. I mean, the sun gives us skin cancer. So by your logic, everything was configured such that we would get skin cancer. This is what your logic supposes. See, the problem is that it's not that we were placed here by some cosmic pawn man, but we have adapted to the conditions of the modern world. And for that, we are able to survive within it to a specific degree. Of course, any degree difference, we die.
Right.
In more larger numbers. But who cares? Why are we as humans somehow this special privileged being? Why is it that just because we die, that means God exists. I mean, there be some other existence here. Why are you saying that we're special in the grand scheme of the universe?
Explain what you mean by other existence.
Well, I mean, we can imagine hypothetical possible worlds in which there is another universe. If the gravity was different, we can imagine a different type of being in that universe, right? We can imagine different universes with different laws of nature within them, different gravities, different nuclear forces, different weak forces, with different beings.
So, I mean, we're just imagining now. So, how about the logic thing behind it? I'd like to hear more about that and how you believe.
Those other worlds are perfectly logical.
Then why do you have to imagine them? Why don't we have proof for them? Why does $65 million of our taxes paid go to NASA for a daily budget, and they still haven't found anything, or even just went live on the moon or something? They only post shit like I could literally make at home with a green screen. They post shit like that, but they have $65 million budget a day.
So first of all, NASA doesn't just go to the moon. They also perform things like climate satellites and all kinds of data satellites, which give us more insight on our planet. They also help scientists. They also fund all kinds of organizations that actually do research in medicine and biology and things like that. It's not just about going to the moon. But furthermore, why is this even relevant? Let's say NASA is nonsense. How does this prove God exists?
Repeat the question.
Let's say NASA is bogus. How does this demonstrate God exists?
Because they never made it out the atmosphere. We're literally in a firmament.
Okay, what's your evidence? What is your evidence of this firmament?
I mean, have you been to the moon? Have anyone ever been outside of our atmosphere itself? And where's the proof of that? Because we're asking for proof of God. Where's the proof that we've been outside of the atmosphere?
The International Space Station. We have tons of documents and photos and videos of people in space.
And I have videos of me holding a tiger, bro. Photoshop exists, especially if I had $65 million in my bank account.
Please, sir, please, hold on. We've been to the moon because we have moon rocks, which contain micrometeorites in them, micro impacts that only could have happened on the moon. These can't happen on the Earth.
How do you figure that can only happen on the moon? You've never been to the moon, so you don't know anything about it.
We can infer based on things like physics and science. It's called scientific method. The reason why these rocks cannot come from the Earth is because the Earth has an atmosphere, which these rocks would disintegrate and never be able to impact small rocks. On the moon, there is no such atmosphere, so these rocks, these small pieces of dust which come from space, can smash into the rocks on the moon and produce these little impacts. And we can see these in the rocks that we have in NASA's vault. We have moon rocks. We also have telescopes which can see the rovers on the moon. We also have the International Space Station, which we have direct evidence of them going in space. We also have Martian rovers, which is another piece of evidence that we've been to the moon, to Mars. It seems like you just are too skeptical because you don't understand the evidence.
The evidence you just provided is bogus, dude. You just said these moon rocks wouldn't last on Earth. How did they bring them back, and how are they still malleable? That makes no sense.
Because we went to the moon and got them.
Okay, so you just said by your quotation that if they were on Earth, they would disintegrate. So how are they here?
No, you didn't understand what I said. It's not that the rocks themselves would disintegrate. The small impactors would disintegrate.
Okay, so how do you measure that?
Measure what?
The fact that they would disintegrate.
By recognizing that physics shows that enough friction in the atmosphere would cause enough heat for them to disintegrate. It happens all the time in our atmosphere.
I just don't understand how you can believe what you believe and continue living.
It's called scientific data.
Scientific data also states that the Earth was started by the Big Bang.
No,
do you believe that as well?
That's not what the Big Bang even means.
Okay, tell me what it means.
The Big Bang is the rapid inflation of our cosmos. Space and time itself has stretched about 14 billion years ago very rapidly, and since then have pushed us along with the space and time. The Big Bang is still happening today. We're still in the Big Bang by definition.
The Big Bang does not state that.
It sure does. The Big Bang is merely the expansion of the universe. It's still happening today. We can see evidence of it by looking at telescopes and seeing the stretching of galaxy light.
The Big Bang said that the universe came into being from a single, unimaginably hot and dense point.
Yeah, you're talking
Pretty
about
much saying that the universe was started from a massive explosion out of like a singular cell.
No, you're talking about the singularity, which no longer is associated with many papers. Scientists are moving away from this idea of a singularity. It doesn't make any sense, and that's mathematical purely. In actuality, inflationary cosmology is a way better picture of the universe. And I can go into that if you want me to, but
Yes, do expand on that. I'm here to learn.
Good, and I'm proud of you for that. The problem is, I'm not Bill Nye. I don't know everything about the cosmos, but I can tell you to learn. I can tell you to learn on your own, research. And I guarantee you, all the claims you made today, you'll realize were wrong. Okay?
I just don't.
Have a good day. One last guest. One last guest. I'm getting tired, guys. Hey, Kate, how are you? By the way, guys, thank you for subscribing. If you have subscribed, thank you for following. Please follow if you haven't. Who really wants to come in?
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
good. How are you?
Great. How can I help you?
Let's go into we can go both topics, but we just go to the first one. So, why do you believe God isn't real?
There's no evidence of it.
I can give you evidence you can go outside and practice right now.
Okay.
So, what is more plausible to happen out in nature? What is more likely to happen out in nature? Something, what?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're giving me bad faith just looking at me like that. Sorry. What is more plausible to happen out in nature? Non-life creating life, or life creating life again?
Life only comes from non-life. Because
Whoa. Life comes from non-life?
Life, absolutely. It's called abiogenesis, and we have a very good understanding of how this happens. Life is not an object; it's a process. It's what non-life does. So, for example, your body is made of cells, but these cells are not individually alive. What makes them alive is the fact that they perform certain chemical reactions, replication and metabolism. This is what makes them alive. So life is an emergent phenomenon coming from non-living things.
I don't know if I agree with what you're saying. I'm talking about what happens in majority out in nature, not just. I know there's like in biology, there's metamorphosis and all these other things that happen, and that's a minority. But and you're like marginalizing a certain thing that happens in nature. But in majority, what happens in nature more? Non-life creating life or life creating life?
Non-life only can make life.
You contradicted yourself too. You contradicted yourself too, saying how non-life is life when you just said germs are life, but they're not living.
No, you're not. Look, you're not understanding, right? Life is not an object. There is nothing about your body that's alive except for the fact that the things you're made of perform certain chemical processes. DNA, if you took a DNA strand, it's not alive. DNA is not alive. It's just a molecule, right? Collections of atoms and hydrogen and carbon and oxygen. But what makes DNA alive is when it interacts with other molecules. And that's the process of life. Life is a process, not an object. So make sure you understand the distinction, because it's important to understand. Non-life can generate life. You're doing it every day. You drink water. You're eating food. That's non-life converting into living process.
Like what? My poop is creating what?
No, the food you consume, right? The food you consume
I'm
go
with you.
into your cells. Your cells take those non-living things and generates life from those things.
What's living? What do you mean? What's life? Like, explain yourself.
It's
My food is living.
It's the process of your body. It's the process of your cells
My
and your
food is
DNA.
living inside of me. Like, you're losing me.
Yeah, you're not understanding. Life is a process by which the objects in your body perform. That's all it means.
Hold on, buddy. Do you hear what you're saying? My question was, what's more plausible to happen out in nature? Non-life creating life, or life creating life? Again,
Non-life producing life.
it's not majority of what happens outside in nature.
It's the only thing that happens.
Rocks don't create things. Even
Right,
if
but
that rock
certain-
ate
but
something,
certain-
if
but
you melt the
certain
rock,
amino
if you
acids- look,
froze
look.
the rock, it doesn't create anything. It's non-living.
I never said rocks make life. Certain amino acids, certain proteins,
Yes,
non-living things.
and that's what I said. You're marginalizing at that point because that's not majority.
That's what life means. You can't get life from rocks.
Life means biogenesis. That's just a certain thing that happens in nature. That's not even a majority of things that happen in
What are
nature
you
when you're
talking
talking about
majority?
creation.
I don't even know what you mean by majority of things. That doesn't make any sense.
Like I just said, rocks creating life out in nature. Does that happen?
Okay, so what's your point? Rocks don't make life, therefore God?
No, my point is, if non-living doesn't create life, and life is more plausible to create life, then even with the guy before, when he was bringing up the Big Bang Theory, that there had to be an intellectual mind to even matter itself. You
Why do you need a
space to put
mind?
matter
Why
in.
do you need a mind to make life? Why?
Like I was just saying, you need matter. If you're gonna have matter, you need space to put it
Sir,
in.
why do you need a mind to make life? I'm gonna give you one more chance. One more
Can I
chance.
finish? Yeah, let me finish. If there's space, you can put the matter in. There needs to be an intellectual mind to know where to put those things, right, in the universe.
Why?
Because we would burn up or we would either freeze. What do you mean why?
That doesn't mean that
there
you
needs
need
to be there needs to be an intellectual mind where to put these rocks so they don't collide to each other, right?
No, there's no rock man putting rocks places. That's not how rocks work. Everything around us, all matter, right, is subject to the laws of nature, physics, and chemistry, biology. All these laws of nature determine how rocks move in the universe. There is no sense of any person or buddy or any rock man making things happen the way they are. There's no evidence of that.
I think some people say that, so like especially atheists, so they feel like they can sin and feel good about it.
Sin doesn't even exist.
So we can go on. We can go on to that too.
Asserting stuff. Look, you're just asserting things at this point. Give us evidence of a God.
So when a judge in the court of law sends a murderer to prison, is the judge doing a good thing or a bad thing?
A good thing.
Right, because the criminal's getting what they deserve, right? So when God sends people to jail, because to hell, sorry, getting the analogy switched up, God's actually doing a good thing because God is executing justice upon those who deserve punishment.
Sir, you are literally just presupposing God exists. I can just say Snuffleupagus punishes people.
So how do you feel about people that mass murder and just like,
Sir, what is your point? What is the evidence of your magic sky wizard?
Magic sky wizard. I mean, you couldn't even answer non-living life to creating life. I think that's pretty.
I did. You just went over your
head. Go practice in nature. Like that's hardcore evidence right there. You can go practice out in nature. Is non-life going to create life or life create life?
Non-life creates life.
How are you going? So tell me how you're going to recreate that out in nature, in a natural way.
We have done tests with protocells.
Natural way in nature. Nature is natural.
It's amazing how you just don't listen to me. This is why you believe the shit you believe. You don't listen. So life abiogenesis is described by certain chemical processes. We have lipid bilayers forming in oceans, amino acids forming certain proteins, amyloids, which are sheets of polypeptides. We also have things like RNA, which polymerizes under certain clay phosphate minerals and clay surfaces. There's a convection cycle between the RNA molecules, which can interact with protocells in the oceans and seep up to the surface, become dry, become wet, go under these cycles, polymerize, and become living organisms, because replication only requires RNA. This is called the RNA world hypothesis. So that's the gist of abiogenesis. And so far, you have no counter.
Yes, I do, because you've named germs. Can you give me a living, like, actual animal?
Yeah, you're not able to comprehend what I just told you.
Yes, I did.
Life is not an object.
You gave me an ocean. You gave me an ocean germ.
Sir, what is your definition of life?
A living thing. But I don't like your
that's not what life
microscopic.
means. Look, sir, that's not what life means. Life is not an object. It's a process. It's metabolism, replication, reproduction.
Living just means alive. That's it. Alive is living.
Wow, congratulations. What does alive mean?
Living, I just said that.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but you just have to go back to the drawing board and learn, right? You're not doing that enough. You can't partake in this conversation if you can't understand what you're debating. You just can't. Hi, how can I help you?
So what's it called? I kind of agree with most of the things you say. I think the only thing is like the gender is a spectrum thing. Like I think the debate more is like the word gender has been around for a really long time, and it seems like now people are trying to change its definition. I mean, male and female have been kind of like the idea.
Why do you think gender can only be binary?
It's not that gender can only be, it's just that the word gender, for as long as it's been known almost, has always been kind of like to define the cultural norms. Trying to hijack the word to say like people's self-identification is what gender is as a cultural thing is weird.
Nobody's hijacking it. If anybody's hijacking it, it's you saying that it's either a man or a woman. That's not how the brain works. We know that.
No, I'm saying that they're.
Hold on, sir.
Taking...
Hold on. We know that gender is tied to your neurochemistry. The brain is more complex than just man or a woman. There's more to it. There's sexuality. There's characteristics. There's behaviors. There's norms. There's cultural reasons why we define what a man is, what a woman is. And there are people who don't necessarily fit in those definitions that you prescribe them. That's what transgender people are. That's what non-binary people are. That's what gender fluid people are. Not everybody's going to fit under your definition. That's why there are different gender identities, because there are different ways to identify sexually.
For as long as it's been, gender and sex have been synonymous. Why don't you create a new word like?
Because we have learned about each other. That's why we have created this new definition, because it's not that the world changed, it's that we understood more about ourselves.
Well, if we've understood more about ourselves, then it should be gender identity as a spectrum. Trying to make every
point. Yes, that's the point. So do you agree?
I agree with that, but I don't agree with using the word gender in specific.
Gender is a spectrum. There's different genders. There's different identities.
Gender identity is a spectrum. Just using gender like.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I just want to say fuck you, dude.
Oh, must be a Jesus lover. Nothing like Christian love. That good old Christian love.
Yo.
Hi, how can I help you?
So, like, on the atheist thing, with the life not creating life thing, where do you think, like, what created, like, the first life thing, you know?
Okay, how old are you?
I don't know, does it really matter?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. Just answer my question first. I'm 18, bro.
Okay. Guys, I have a video on my YouTube called Abiogenesis. Go learn. These are great questions. What's the first life? That's a great question, guys. Good. Learn. Learn about biology. Learn about abiogenesis. Do it. It'll help you tremendously. I'm really, really tired, guys. I'm doing this for you guys, but I'm really tired. Thank you, Starstruck, for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you, Liberty. Thank you. Appreciate all your support.
Hello? Hello?
How can I help you?
I'm good. I just want to speak about the topic when you said God isn't real. I want to ask you, why do you believe that God isn't real?
Oh, there's no evidence of it.
I would disagree, right? I think that the best form of evidence that we have, right, would be like, have you heard the Thomas Aquinas argument for motion?
Unfortunately.
Well, I would say that Thomas Aquinas argument for motion is probably the most logical way that we can say that, you know, God must exist, right? So we will argue for let's say change occurs. Change is the actualization of potential. No potential can actualize itself unless something already actual is actualizing it. Things exist within a hierarchical series, so there must be a first member, something that is purely actual. Any objections?
Yeah, so there is no supposed chain of actualizations. You know, we can view the universe as unchanging because we know that time is relative. Under the B theory of time, we know that time does not need to pass in any objective way. Time can be infinite, and there might not be a beginning or a purely actualizer that starts it off. Perhaps everything's already purely actualized, and we can view this in perhaps a quantum mechanical way. You don't need a first mover. You don't need a first person to do that. Perhaps the universe in its entirety is statically there and does not change in any objective way.
See, I would kind of disagree to this because what you're saying right now is that the universe itself isn't in a constant change, right? And also, when we bring up change, right, we're not speaking of change alone. What we do with change help us introduce the actualization of potential.
Yeah, I understand that, but the problem is change requires time, passing, right?
Okay, we can agree with this, yes.
Right. That's the problem. Time does not necessarily pass. So there is no change necessarily. Change might be an emergent phenomenon of the universe, not a fundamental one. Right? Perhaps, do you know what the B theory of time means?
I'm pretty familiar with it. I never heard anybody argue for it, but
the B theory suggests that all of time exists. The past already is still here. Our future already here. Perhaps all of time exists out there in the universe. It's just that from our perspective, from our reference frame, it seems like time is passing. It seems like there's change, but there really isn't in any fundamental sense. It's an emergent phenomenon.
See, what's funny about this, right? You're saying that what you're arguing for is that change itself does not exist. The reason why I would disagree.
That's not what I'm saying. That's your straw man.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
So again, what are you saying? Can you repeat yourself one more time?
Change is emergent, not fundamental.
Okay, so what do you mean by emergent and not fundamental?
There is no law of physics that requires change. There's no requirement for that. It could be that change is something that we understand and perceive.
Well, yes, and again, Mike, I already told you this. I'm not arguing for change itself. I'm arguing for the actualization of potential. I use change to introduce this.
Right, yeah, but what you're doing in your argument, but what Thomas Aquinas was doing was he was supposing that there was this passing of time where there is an actualizer and a potential, then an actualizer, then this long chain of cause and effect, which requires the A theory of time to be correct, which we now know is wrong. We now know that there is no ultimate time frame reference for the universe. Everybody's time is different.
But yeah, but what I would disagree with this, right? It seems like you're strawmanning my argument, right? Because what I'm arguing for, I'm not necessarily arguing for a beginner. The universe itself and the time and all of this stuff can still be infinite or an actual infinite in any way. It does not matter. The reason why it does not matter is the simple fact that because what we're arguing for again is just the cause. And it's just a cause of it basically existence.
Yeah, that's the problem. There is no cause necessarily. The universe could be purely actualized.
How can the universe be purely actualized if change exists within the universe?
It doesn't in any fundamental way. This is the problem.
How does it not? How does it not, right? If we're speaking
because
about
it doesn't, because time itself is not passing.
So how is time not passing?
Because relativity shows us that space and time are interconnected, that the more you travel through space, the less you travel through time. So there's this interrelationship between the two, and that's why there is no objective flow of time in the universe. Our experience of time is perceptual.
Okay, we can agree with this, right? I can agree with this, but like the part that I don't get, right, is hold on, we have to go back a few, right? Because what we're saying right now, you're saying that time does not flow, right? Is that what you're saying in the B theory of time?
Correct.
So then wouldn't it just come to the conclusion again that you're just speaking that change itself does not exist?
Change does not exist in any fundamental way. Yeah.
So again, I still don't get what you mean by it does not exist in no fundamental way.
For example, do you think that a molecule of water is wet?
No.
Exactly. It's just a molecule of water. It's not wet. However, wetness emerges when you have a collection of water molecules interacting with each other chemically. That's wetness. So wetness is an emergent property, which is a property which the collective has, but the individual does not. So that's what emergence means, and that's why change is emergent, not necessarily a fundamental thing, just like water.
See, so are you saying that? Hold on, because now I don't get this. Are you calling the universe itself something that's individual? I don't get what you're saying with this. So what are you calling?
What I'm saying is change is emergent.
Oh my gosh, I understand that part, right? But the part I'm trying to come at, right, is the part where you bring up basically the molecules and talking about how it's an individual, right? This part, that's the part that I honestly don't understand.
I know. I'm trying my best to make it simple for you. But in the same sense, I talked about water being individually not wet, right? The same applies to the universe, right? The universe all the time does not necessarily have a property of change. The property of change emerges through brains, through reference frames, subjectively. That's what I was trying to say.
But didn't you already agree that time requires change?
The passage of time requires change, not time itself.
I would disagree with this, right? Listen, scientists and philosophers have agreed that time requires change.
No, change requires time.
No, what? That's not how it goes. We observe time through change. How can change require time? How can change require time?
Because in order for change to occur, you need time to have it. You can't have no time because you wouldn't have change occur. You'd just be one thing.
Then I would say the same thing for both. I will also say that time cannot exist if change does not exist. I don't get where you're coming from with this.
Look, you don't know what relativity is even describing. That's why you're having trouble here. Again, do you know what Einstein's four-dimensional block is?
Enlighten me, I guess.
Okay. We can imagine the universe is 4 dimensions, 3 of space, 1 of time. And because of this, imagine like a loaf of bread where all of time exists. We can imagine this loaf of bread being infinite. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong or illogical about an infinite loaf of bread going into the past or future. If all of time is statically existing. Does that make sense?
I can understand. I'm kind of understanding where you're coming from, But like what it comes to, I'm not really arguing for that. I'm lost in what you're trying to say. Like it's kind of confusing me a little bit.
Then go learn, right? Aquinas did not understand relativity. That's why your argument is shitty. I'm not trying to be rude here, but his argument is bad. Time does not necessarily change in any fundamental way. But also,
no one ever
even
said
if there's
that.
a purely,
No,
even
no,
if there's a
hold on.
purely actualizer, that could be something quantum. It doesn't have to be a god.
Again, I would disagree with this, right? Because something that is purely actual is something that is timeless. We've all, I can say that we can agree to
Timeless?
this,
Wait,
can we not?
what do you mean by timeless?
I believe that because I believe that change requires time. That's what I'm trying to say. And
You
that
just
time
said,
requires change. We
I
already
literally
came to that.
just said that. Look, there is no such thing as I can see as timelessness, because in order for change to occur, you need time. So how
Yes,
can
I would
God
agree
be
to that.
timeless and change something if you need time to do it?
See. That's what that's now. Now I'm kind of understanding where you're coming from. Again, we're not arguing for God changing anything. That's not what we're arguing for here.
Isn't
That's
creating a
not.
universe? Isn't creating a universe a change?
That's not what we're not talking about him creating the universe. That's what I'm trying to come at with you, Mike.
Isn't
That's
creating a
that.
universe the actualization of a potential?
We can say that is an actualization of a potential, but that's not the potential that we're talking about. We're not.
That's
What we're arguing
change.
for. Wait,
That's
hold on.
change. That's
That
change.
can, Mike. That can be changed. That can be changed. But I've already said this. We can say that the universe was eternal. In Thomas Aquinas' argument will still apply.
I agree.
That's what.
The problem
Okay,
is
so then
that we
why
can
are you talking about
imagine that
creation?
time doesn't itself flow. In that sense, all things are already actualized. All the time already exists.
Okay, we can say this. I can agree with this. Let's say time always
Great.
existed.
So then you don't need somebody to actualize things. They already are.
I would disagree. I would completely disagree.
I know, but why? What's your argument? What's your counter?
It's the simple fact. It's the simple fact that we can say that time itself can be something that is eternal. It could have always existed.
I
It will still.
I understand that. You're not grasping the issue,
But
though.
hold on. But did we not already agree that time requires change? I believe that we already agreed to this, right? I'm trying to come at where I'm at right now, Mike.
Change requires time.
Okay, so let's agree to this. Change requires time. It will still apply if you were to turn it around. It still does not matter.
No, time does not require change. Time could be eternally existing statically.
Okay, let's say change requires time. It does not defeat anything, Mike. It does not. The reason why this.
Look, sir, you're not understanding. You're really not understanding at all. I would go back to the drawing board and learn relativity before you come up with this shitty argument again.
No, we can.
Unfortunately, the entire universe and all of time can exist eternally, such that there is nobody actualizing things. They already are actualized.
Oh my gosh! Again, we can agree to this, Mike. We can agree to.
Your argument collapses because you don't need a god to actualize it.
You're not letting me finish, right?
Everything already is actualized without God.
But listen, this again, the universe itself will not be something that is purely actual, though.
Why not? Why not?
Because something that is purely actual is something that is timeless.
By whose definition? What does timeless even mean?
No flow of time, or it does not require time, or it does not need time.
Okay, great. So how can that exist and cause something to change if it has no time to do it in?
Oh my gosh, Mike, again, you're strawmanning the argument. I'm not arguing for change. I'm not arguing for God changing anything.
Sir, listen. Timelessness doesn't make coherent sense. How can you have no time?
I'm trying to explain to you. Can I explain? Again, Mike, because when we come to this conclusion, right? We come to a conclusion of something that is purely actual. Are you going to say something that is purely actual is something that requires time?
It has time, yes. All time is actualized.
How does something that is unchanging have time?
Because time does not require change.
Oh my gosh! So how can we observe change?
Perceptually.
If it does not need time,
relativistically.
How? Explain to me, Mike. Explain to me how we can see.
Look. Through relativity, time is relative. It is not objectively true that there's a clock of the universe or everybody's clock agrees. That's not how time works.
Mike, nobody's arguing for that, Mike.
Great.
That's
So
fine.
then you could
We can accept
recognize a
that.
universe that is eternal and purely actualized.
Oh my gosh. That Mike, that does not follow, right? You just made a complete assertion. You just said you literally just said since the universe itself is something that is eternal, it does not need a purely actual being. Mike,
No, you're so fucking lost. Sir,
that's
I'm
literally what you
sorry,
just
but
said.
I look, I can't help you anymore. You're not grasping, you're not understanding the argument. Imagine all of time existing like a movie, right? Just like all time frames of a movie exist simultaneously. Imagine all of time existing simultaneously. A movie is purely actualized. There's nothing coming out of the movie, right? There's no new frames of the movie. Just like the universe. We can imagine the universe as a movie where it's in some 5-dimensional, 4-dimensional way, it's just there. And
Okay, Mike, we can
time
agree to that.
is something that relative to the people within the movie, not outside of the movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Mike, we can understand this again. I've already come to this conclusion that we can have time itself being something that's eternal. It does not change the fact that it would need something to cause
Oh my God, no, there is no causation. Causation's emergent. That's the point. Causation is emergent.
Okay, Mike. So then okay, then you have to give me some type of other definition of change or like what I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of lost.
Yes, you are. And I'm glad you're honest at least. Look, learn about relativity. Learn how time is not necessarily changing. The passage of time, the flow of time is not a fundamental feature of the universe necessarily. This is the point. It's a possibility. It's a plausibility that you have to account for. This is why Aquinas' argument fails. It doesn't account for relativity. And to better your arguments, please learn.